finally over?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who's
For
Cleveland
some
play
of
this
us.
week?
The Air, Cancun.
I got a quick question for everybody. How'd that injured defense look versus Minnesota?
We talked about it on our podcast. Pretty damn good. That was an all field goal game, Jeremy. And I was teasing. I said at least the kickers were making them and not missing them.
Right.
Even though it was a field goal game,
Jer-
it was a field goal dominated game. But yeah, to your point, that defense was stout against Minnesota. Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts again.
Exactly what I said.
Jeremy, you know how I feel about 34. And you put Anzalone back in that lineup, and you could tell there it is. Big difference.
I have been a big one talking about the difference in our red zone defense ever since Anzalone left. That is why we were giving up 30 points, because the red zone defense started giving up 15% more red zone touchdowns than they gave in the entire time with them in the lineup. And there was games when McNeil was missing and Anzalone was in, and people still didn't score. So the proof was in the pudding. As soon as it happened, sorry, nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie, how you doing, man? I haven't talked to you all this year.
I'm doing good, Adam, and
what's up, man?
I'm pretty happy where the Bills are right now, but I'm not taking this game against Denver lightly, though. We talked about it, Joe, in our podcast. Remember, we're not going to take it lightly.
Yeah, we actually just started talking about it here too. It's like I'm hoping, as we said, hopefully the Bills don't take it lightly, because Denver is not a team to mess with. Especially
considering they gave the Bills a 9.5 point favorite, and as a Bills fan, I'm honestly going to say that's too high against a team like Denver.
And if I was in Vegas, I'd be betting Denver all day long with that kind of a spread. You're going to give me Denver in 10? Come on.
Exactly. And I'm saying that I'm saying that as a Bills fan. I'm being impartial saying that.
I still see the Bills winning by 10, but I think it's going to be again, they pull it out in the end.
Dylan?
Yeah, but we would play the winner of the Steelers and the Ravens, obviously, but
so when you play the Steelers, exactly what's going to
Huh?
Well, let's start the haters already. Here we go.
Well, it's not really being hate. If you look at the last 3 games after they played the Lions, the Bills' defense really didn't look that good the rest of those 3 games. And I think that's what everybody's basing it off of.
Their problem is they could sack the quarterback, but they're having a hard time stopping the run. They're not big up front this year to stop the run.
Right. There's nobody big up front to stop the run, and when you can't stop the run, that sets up the play action because you have to cheat your safeties up, and the safeties aren't that great at doing that, so they end up getting burnt over the top. And this is what we've seen, because even New England was doing that. Run, then play action over the top, and that's how they scored on them. And that's something Denver's very good at. They've been doing it all year that way. That's how they just housed the backups for Kansas City. But that was the smartest thing. That was the chess match of Kansas City of all chess matches.
Yeah,
Let's not play a single fucking starter, because if we do, the Bengals are coming to the playoffs. That's a chess match move, right?
Dude, the Bengals were the hottest team. The Bengals were going to be the hottest team running into this playoff.
Cincinnati wasn't going to win a game in Orchard Park. You really think that Cincinnati's defense is going to stop Josh Allen? He would go for 40 in that game.
Yeah, the game would have been like 42-40 or something. But
it would have been like
you can't say that offense couldn't keep up with it, though. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Both those offenses would be very high points.
Game of pinball.
Because
44 to, that's what you would have had. The Cincinnati.
Right. But not only do you have Jamar Chase, but by the way, you got that guy on the other side wearing 5 is a pretty damn good receiver in his own right, in T. Higgins. And then you've got the running game.
That's Chris Berman.
Helps Burrow out. I'm not a big fan of Cincinnati's O-line. I think that's probably going to be one of their key spots in the draft. Is going to be
That seems to be their key
O-line,
spot every year.
Right.
That seems to
yeah,
be
they
something
just
they
can't
address every
protect
year.
Burrow,
Though.
man.
Every year.
They just
They
can't.
still were
try.
able to run the ball though, even with a poor offensive line.
I don't know if
Well, it
Rivori's
seems like they
trying
can
to
run
speak
block. They
because
just can't pass block.
He's muted.
Wait, are
There
you
he
talking about me?
Like I said, Chase Brown, I think he cracked 1,000 yards. I'll check. I don't know.
So, guys, with all the coach be fine, instead of all the negativity, I think we talk all things positive tonight. So let's talk awards. And everybody will have, we're going to do Offensive Rookie of the Year,
And I
Coach of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and MVP. Everybody think of a number between 1 and 17.
14.
6.
3.
15.
17.
13.
Jay is
numbers.
loving the comments tonight.
So we're just picking random numbers, okay? What is it? Number between what?
1 and
0 and
17.
17.
Yeah, what are we picking these numbers for?
9.
You win, Jamie.
Okay.
That's why.
Hey,
Jamie
Dylan,
gets to go
you
first,
said
and it's going to go around the clock, right?
Yes, we're
You
going to
said-
go.
you said
So we're doing
offensive rookie of the
awards.
year, offensive player of the year, MVP, and what was the fourth one?
Coach.
Defensive Player of the Year. Sorry, Defensive
You
Player
also
of the
said
Year.
Coach of the Year, right?
Yeah, Coach of the Year.
Okay,
Offensive
then we
Rookie
do,
of the
can we
Year.
do Offensive, Defensive Players of the Year, Coach, and MVP?
Okay.
Charles, you're getting some love right now.
MVP. It's close, but I'll go. I'm not going first. I'll let him go. I'll let Jamie go.
Are we doing all 5 at once or one at a time and work our way around?
We're going to do all of them at
We're going to
once.
do those 4, and then we're going to do the rookies.
Okay,
Right.
so what's the first award are we doing?
Offensive and Defensive Player of the Years.
Okay, Offensive Player of the Year. I'll go Derrick Henry. Defensive Player of the Year. Micah Parsons.
You feeling okay?
Mike
He can't
Parsons
be.
had an awful season. Awful season.
This is his pick, though.
Let's see. Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Nope,
Malik
we didn't.
Neighbors.
We weren't doing the rookies yet.
Oh, we haven't done that yet?
No, we were doing offensive, defensive, Coach of the Year.
Okay,
and
Coach of the
MVP.
Year. Coach of the Year. Let's see what we got. Jay says Dan Campbell. Yeah, I'll go. I'll jump on the bandwagon. I'll jump on board and say Dan Campbell.
Easy Dan there, huh?
Super everyone.
Yeah.
As Chris Berman used to say when he played tight end for the Cowboys. With Jason Witten. So
Bandwagon Jamie. Worst Coach of the Year, Gerard Mayo. Him and Antonio Pierce are close.
both of them
Anyone-
should have not gotten fired, though. That's what I have to say.
No,
Anyone
no,
writing
they
them?
couldn't have.
Anyone writing this down?
Do we need to write
Okay,
it
so what are we on offensive?
down? And
what are we
now
on
we're
now?
on
Rookie of
MVP.
the Year, right?
MVP, Rookie of the Years. We were doing the second go around.
MVP
Just those
Josh
4.
Allen.
Okay. So Jamie has Josh
King
Allen.
Henry, Michael Parsons, BC, and Josh Allen.
Yep.
Evan.
Okay, so for MVP is Lamar Jackson. Offensive Player of the Year, Josh Allen. Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain. And Coach of the Year, I'm gonna have to go give to the Vikings head coach, but his name escapes me
Kevin
right now.
Kevin O'Connell,
Kevin O'Connell.
who used to be who played with New England and was a backup to Tom Brady.
Okay.
By the way.
So you said Lamar for MVP, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Josh Allen for offensive player,
Yep.
and who was your defensive MVP?
PS2, Patrick Surtain.
Just like his old man with the Dolphins.
And your coach of the year was Kevin O'Connell.
Yep.
KOC. Gotcha.
Charles.
Me?
Charles,
Yes, sir.
All right. Offensive player of the year, I am going with Saquon Barkley. Defensive player of the year, I have to agree with Surtain.
Mhm.
Same with coach of the year. I definitely think Kevin O'Connell, losing the quarterback option that they were going into the season here with, and then just kind of going with plan B. And plan B turned out to be pretty good. So O'Connell is my coach of the year. MVP, not just because I'm from Buffalo and a Bills fan, but I think this is Josh Allen's award. And that, am I forgetting something?
Did you say coach of the year?
he said
Coach of the year.
KOC.
Kevin O'Connell, coach of the year. Like I said, Surtain, defense, and Saquon Barkley, offensive player.
Jeremy.
All right, I'm going to go a different route. I do think Josh Allen is the MVP. I just think he's getting it because they had more wins. That's the only reason why. You can't give it to. You damn sure can't give it to Patrick Mahomes. He was awful this season.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's Josh Allen.
Yeah, he'll play like
Offensive player
God
of the
in
year.
playoffs.
There's only one player that has 20 offensive touchdowns that's not a quarterback this year. I'm going with my boy
Jahmyr
Gibbs. I'm going with Jahmyr Gibbs.
Not Joe Gibbs, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Right. My defensive player of the year is the leader of interceptions with 9 and also third in tackles in the league as a safety, and that's
Cavalry.
Kirby Joseph.
Perfect.
And then it's Dan Campbell. Yeah, I put 3 Lions in there. Yeah, because Barkley has 16 touchdowns on the season, didn't play the last week.
Charles.
He was 101 yards away from being the greatest rusher of all time.
And I applaud that. Good for him.
Charles.
Offensive player of the year, I think Saquon a little bit over T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins deserves to be mentioned. Not T. Higgins. Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase was fantastic all year round. The reason why Burrow's numbers came up is when he got with Chase. So that was good. Defensive player of the year, Kyle Hamilton. I thought the defense switching when Kyle Hamilton took over free safety, the Ravens went from having the worst pass defense in the league to top 10 finish of the league. I think Kyle Hamilton's terrific. MVP, I got no argument if anybody doesn't say Lamar. I'm going to say Lamar, but it's super close. Joe, I got no argument with Saquon. I got no argument with Joe Burrow. I almost have no argument with Josh Allen. Lamar's numbers were a little bit better. Just a little bit better. Lamar's had a historic season, 4,000 yards passing and 900 yards rushing. In coach of the year, Gerard Mayo, no. That was total crap though. And that's a whole other thing. But Kevin O'Connell.
I think my son
You had Kyle Hamilton for defensive player of the year?
Yeah, I had Kyle Hamilton.
Big
Joseph was very close though. I think
so just to let you know, my son was involved here today.
And who was your coach of the year though?
Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. Nobody saw that coming. They had the best. I think they're probably them in Detroit are probably the most physical teams in the NFC. No question. That's what that was Sunday. They were hitting each other in the mouth.
And I'm before we go to the next person, I'm going to tell you something crazy. This year, prior to the season, 8 weeks before the season, when we did our NFC North preview on my NFL Roundtable talk, I made a bold prediction. I said Minnesota's going to do one of two ways. If you go seeing Sam Darnold like in New York Jets, it's going to be a very bad year, but they're not going to do worse than third in the division. But if Sam Darnold plays like I think he will with the best roster he's been surrounded by, and it has less to do with the coaching, it had more to do with the roster that was around him and the best O-line he's ever started behind. I said, if he plays as an average quarterback, they will be at least a 12-win team and compete with Detroit for the division.
Wow.
I said that 8 weeks before the season started.
Oh, by the way, we want to wish Lamar Jackson a happy 28th birthday today, by the way.
No, we don't.
Well, one
Respect
real
to
quick.
you, Evan.
Real quick. Last time, 2 times Ravens won the Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer was 28. Joe Flacco was 28.
Wow.
Lamar just turned 28. There you go.
And the last time Tom
That's no
Brady won
relevance
one,
at
he was
all, but I thought it was
45.
interesting.
Big sexy.
Or, excuse me, 44. Excuse me.
I love it. I love it.
Is he only 28? That guy looks like he's 40.
He was born January 7, 1997.
And me.
Richard.
All right, offensive player of the year. Charles, I got you, man. Jamar Chase.
Jamar
Chase.
Chase.
I mean, just look at what he did. The Triple Crown with a team that was bad. He had a great quarterback, but
Yeah,
he was doubled. He was doubled every time he turned
Their
around.
defense was the problem.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll put Jamar up there. Honorable mention to Saquon and to a couple other guys, but definitely gotta go with Chase. Evan?
I was just going to ask, when Cooper Kupp got the Triple Crown, did he get Offensive Player of the Year that year?
Yes.
I think he did.
But he didn't win MVP. But I don't think he won MVP that year.
He didn't win MVP, but I think he won Offensive
No.
Player of the Year.
I just wanted to know if he got Offensive Player of the Year that year.
Yeah,
I think I believe I'd have to look. Defensive Player of the Year, Pat Surtain. I mean, come on. It's Revis Island. It's Darryl Green. It's those type of guys. That's where he's at.
And his old man, Pat Surtain Sr.
Right. MVP, Josh Allen. And Coach of the Year, I'm going Sean Payton.
Wow.
That's a good pick.
Carissa
To
Thompson
take
would approve
what
of
that
very much.
Yeah, to take what that Broncos team was doing last year, bring in the rookie quarterback who reinforces my theory that if you put the right quarterback into the right system, amazing, he does well. That team, Cortland Sutton has blossomed. They've got a
Marvin
couple
Mims
other receivers
Jr.
that have really done some good
when
things.
everybody's kung fu fighting.
Yeah.
Orlando's nuts down there. Don't mind him.
Jeremy, they are picking on you today, boy.
Oh, they always do, and I don't care.
But so that's what I've got: Chase, Surtain, Allen, and Sean Payton.
See, now my list for honorable mentions is Sean Payton and Dan Quinn, because no one expected Denver and Washington to be in. You got to remember, the Flores defense was a top 10 defense the year before, so I expected that to be a good defense again, because they actually added pieces to it. Even though it was a lateral move, you look at it, Jonathan Grenard had as many sacks for the Texans as Danielle Hunter had leaving Minnesota. So that was a lateral move. He automatically was going to be their ace in the hole. The guy you didn't know about was Alex Van Ginkel.
Yeah, I just kind of I had Dan Quinn in my mind, but I had to go with Payton.
Yeah, Quinn would be my second choice.
It's not Dan Quinn. It's all Jaden Daniels. Let's just be honest.
Oh no, it's not.
Not all.
I went with Dan Quinn just to let you know.
Yeah, Quinn didn't do that. I you know how I feel about him. He didn't do that great with the Cowboys. So
nobody does great with the Cowboys.
Who has with the Cowboys?
Where
He
would you
didn't
like
do
for me
that
to
great with the
start on
Cowboys,
that one?
though.
Huh?
No, you say Dan Quinn was not good with the Cowboys. He wasn't.
Nobody is good with the Cowboys.
Kingsbury's about to get a head coaching job, I think, again because of the job he's done with Jaden Daniels.
Well, no, yeah, I agree. Kingsbury should get a head coaching job.
I don't.
Is Jay a Lions fan by chance?
Say
Yes,
again?
he is.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Adam.
I'm going with Dan Quinn, obviously.
You can
I
ask your
feel it.
mother about Dan Quinn. She'll tell
Yeah,
you.
that
Cowboys.
be my second choice. I like that.
I'm going with Josh Allen as my MVP.
That's
I
obvious.
was really impressed with Joe Burrow's numbers for Offensive Player of the Year. 9 interceptions out of 652 attempts, whatever. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Defensive Player of the Year, I went with another Bengal, and that was Hendrickson. 55 quarterback pressures, led the league in sacks.
Too
Trey
bad he's the only
Hendrickson's a
one that knows
beast,
how to
man.
play defense on that team.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I didn't base it off of team performance. You got to base it off of individual here.
Player.
Right.
It's defensive player. It's I, not we, in this category.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe's right. I mean, outside of Cameron Britt, Hendrickson's the only one who knows how to play defense on that team. And our old buddy, and our old Steeler buddy, Mike Hilton.
That's a view from a seat that I'm sharing. If anybody wants to see it.
Did anybody else think that?
Who else did you have, Adam?
Oh, go my bad. Adam, go ahead.
What do you mean, a Burrow?
You did all 4 years, didn't you? That's right.
Yeah. Oh, Josh Allen. He's my fantasy quarterback. So.
Josh Allen for your MVP.
What in the Sam Heck is that?
Okay, so on this play, so are we? So now that there's
Gibbs score a touchdown.
So on that fake, Jeremy, like,
yeah,
man,
I don't hate on the Lions, buddy. So now that they've run this fake fumble crap,
listen to the crowd.
What happens if the quarterback gets smashed because of this play and he doesn't have the ball? How, like, I don't like, there has to be a rule on this or cancel it because it's going to cause some stupid penalties. The one with the fumble.
Fumblerooski, yeah.
As soon as the fumble happens, the quarterback is not a quarterback anymore.
Right, but he never fumbled it. He faked it.
No, he faked it. It was the Stumblerooski play. I know exactly the one we did versus the Bears.
Right.
Now,
so I'm just asking, like, Jeremy, I'm asking in general, what happens if they try running this again, but it's a run and he gets smashed? I mean, is there going to be a flag on this, or are they going to be like, yo, they ran this before?
No, because you.
If he's running backwards, it's almost the same as if he's a running back until he gets into position. Like
no, I said he handed off. I said he handed off.
And are you talking about the one where he fell down and handed off, or are you talking about the one where they yelled fumble? Because there's two different ones here.
Fumble, but I'm saying if they run it again and they really hand it off and they smash the quarterback,
it's a sack.
No, he already handed it off.
Or then you just go on the State Farm commercial and Andy Reid and you say Bundlerooski do.
You know
Never
what
mind.
it is?
Never
No,
mind.
I
I'm just
know
asking.
It was a joke, guys.
So you say he hands it off, and they hit.
And then he gets
they
smashed.
hit him. It happened before. Remember, it happened in the Seattle Seahawks game.
But how was that roughing the passer if they ran it before and he kept it?
Because the guy hit him 3 seconds after the running back was past the line of scrimmage.
No, I'm just coming up with scenarios.
Yeah, but I'm just saying we saw something similar to this. If you hand the ball off and the quarterback doesn't have the ball, and it looks like he has the ball to the defender, if they still hit him and he doesn't have the ball, it's 100% roughing the passer.
But you also have to give it a time frame too, because the defensive player is supposed to get 2 steps. If he can't figure out that he doesn't have the ball in those 2 steps, then that's on the defensive player.
Exactly.
But that defensive player still has 2 steps to blow his brains out if he can do it. So That's no harm, no foul right there, as long as it doesn't hit him in the head.
But you know which play I'm talking about versus Seattle. Where
Hey, hold on. Before we get sidetracked here, Dylan, what are your four before you do this on your show and forget to do it on our show?
I'm gonna make this easy. Offensive Player of the Year, number 1, Ja'Marr Chase. Defensive Player of the Year, number 2, Patrick Surtain Jr. Coach of the Year, and I can't believe none of you said his name so far, Mr. Khaki Man himself, Jim Harbaugh. What has he done with Justin Herbert? The LA Chargers were the softest team in the league. And now, Justin Herbert played the best football of his career. The Chargers actually played defense for the first time I've ever seen in my life. They actually beat the poop out of teams.
Is that because they
was
had
that? But was any of that not expected?
But did they not have more than 8 players stay healthy on defense for the first time in an entire season? Yes. Yeah, remember their defense. The youngest guy on it is Nick Bosa.
Joey Bosa.
Or whatever. The Bosa brother.
And Jay, what are you? Jay, the Chargers are the 5th seed. What are you talking about?
So who's your MVP?
And yeah, MVP, but they're a dangerous 5th seed. Oh, look at your Steelers, Adam. In 2005, they were a 6th seed, and what did they do? Ran it all the way and won a Super Bowl.
And
but they got hot. They had to win their final 6 games to make it into that spot. They never lost. And it started when we ran over Urlacher. When Bettis ran over Urlacher, that was the start of that whole thing. Right then and there in that snow game. And
Josh Allen.
Here's a good question.
No.
Yeah,
there we go.
Oh. These are regular season awards. I like them the way they are.
Yep.
Right, regular season awards.
Who asked? Who said they had a question?
No, I was talking about Jay in the chat. But go ahead and finish, Dylan.
And Josh Allen MVP. I can't believe Allen hasn't won an MVP, but maybe it's because of Mahomes, Rodgers, and them all. But that's story for another day. They're all
Rodgers. When the fuck did we talk about Rodgers? No one said Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers won MVPs in 2021, and his team pooped the bed in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's been the same with Matt LaFleur ever since his first Super Bowl.
Well,
the argument for Josh Allen is I think his team isn't as good this year. I think that's the argument. The record is good, and the team he doesn't have as much around.
And Josh Allen didn't play 11 quarters this year.
Yeah, Allen's got to do more for that team to win than he has in the past. Now, granted, James Cook has definitely blossomed into a really good top tier running back, but got to see more out of that receiving core, man. I mean, Cooper was okay. Keon Coleman was doing all right.
Yeah, they just don't have any big names. They're relying on Khalil Shakir, who did great, and all of these guys stepped up. Sure. But they don't have any. Even Amari Cooper is, I think, past
the Kansas City Chiefs last year didn't have a number 1 receiver, and they won the Super Bowl. So there you go.
That's why. By the way, guys.
I'm going to go to last year, though. Last year, Josh Allen was what? 2nd in touchdowns, and it didn't have anywhere near as many interceptions the year before. He was only 2nd to Dak Prescott. Both of them had way better quarterback stats than what Lamar Jackson had. But the fact that Lamar Jackson won his division convincingly, weren't they the number 1 seed? Or were they the 2?
Yeah, they were number 1.
They were
okay, they were the number 1 seed. They were the number 1 seed at that time. And they gave Lamar Jackson over either Dak Prescott, who was the number 2 seed number 2 seed in the NFC, or Josh Allen, who also was the number 2 seed at that time, because they actually had that one more win. So, but his completion percentage is up. His interceptions are way down this year.
Yeah.
I think he is the best quarterback that played, not named Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow's not in the playoffs, so I don't think he gets the MVP.
Very close. Very,
exactly.
very close.
That's a good argument. That's a fair
Jay,
argument.
Evan Jay looks like he's got a question for you out there.
What's up, Jay?
I wonder what it's like to be a Browns fan. Oh, that's
Wow.
That's
we know.
a rhetorical question.
As a Lions fan, it's kind of funny that this is the only chance you'll ever get to say that.
You know what, Evan? I was going to go the opposite way, and I would say, as a Lions fan, we know. We've known for decades. The same
And as
amount
a
of
Bills
decades you
fan,
have.
Joe and I, we know too.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask the
We
Browns
both know that Barry Sanders
I
cursed.
want to ask a
Go ahead,
Browns question. Why aren't you guys wanting to take a quarterback? Why on earth are you trying to bring back Deshaun Watson? I mean, when you got Shador there, you got why is this any hesitation at all?
Okay. This is a long-winded answer. And it's also a top 15 pick in the draft. That's number one. Number two, this is not a quarterback draft. Number three, they're not bringing back Deshaun Watson. And if you haven't noticed, although he will be there on the team for financial reasons, he potentially has to have surgery again on his Achilles. So he's not playing next year. The reason that we're not taking a quarterback right now is because the thinking is this. We didn't need great quarterback play when we ran Kevin Stefanski's offense. We did because Baker wasn't matured yet. The games that we got from Nick Mullins, the games we got from Joe Flacco, the games we got from DTR, the games that we got from Philip P.J. Walker, the games that we got from the list goes on under that style of offense. You can look around anywhere that runs that same Gary Kubiak, Mike Shanahan style of offense. They don't have a superstar quarterback. That's the biggest reason. The second thing is that the defense got figured out this year, and there are other holes besides that. So we're looking at the offensive line. We had 3 tackles last year who came into the season trying to recover from ACLs or other knee injuries. Our running back room is old. Jerome Ford is not what everybody wanted him to be, even though I said that in the beginning. There's a reason he didn't survive in Alabama when he was the heaviest running back that Nick Saban had ever recruited. Jerry Jeudy had a great year, but that was only because of Jameis Winston. And that was only because Jameis Winston was running more of a marriage. Go ahead,
Evan. Do you think Madden for you guys ending up with Jerry Jeudy?
No, I won't give Madden that credit. I'll just say that it's Woody Johnson.
You heard
right?
You heard the story.
I
right?
absolutely heard it. I would just say that Woody Johnson is a dumbass. I'll just say that. But
I got a simple answer on why Cleveland ended up with Deshaun Watson, and it's real simple.
Jimmy Haslam.
Your assistant GM, Bob Quinn, goes, "That's the guy that got me fired. He's a good quarterback. Let's get him."
It was a Jimmy Haslam thing.
I still think Bob Quinn because he's stupid.
It was a Jimmy Haslam thing. He came out in the media and said it. Because if you go back, you can look at the fact that he said that he wanted an adult in the room. Think about the guys who were available. Russ, who went and took the money in Denver when he could have got the same amount of money here in Cleveland because we had the cap space. And Deshaun Watson. Who else were we going to get? There was nobody there. There was nobody to draft. And Baker forced himself out regardless of what anybody wants to believe. So, with all that being said, can you imagine Myles Garrett at his peak with an Abdul Carter or a Mason Graham who's being compared to Jalen Carter, being compared to Aaron Donald? Can you imagine having Denzel Ward in his peak going into the end of his career and taking a Travis Hunter or a Will Johnson? Can you see the other pieces that are there? And we can look at the Lions, we can look at the Bills, we can look at all the teams that are on here. sometimes taking the biggest need is not what's most necessary, especially when that need is drafting out of hope versus drafting out of that's the player we should go get. Shedeur Sanders, my issue with him is that he floats in and out of the pocket and he makes certain throws more difficult. And you saw how he struggled in Colorado. That ain't happening in the NFL. Damn for sure ain't happening in the AFC. You go look at Cam Ward. Cam Ward hasn't played a pro-style offense since high school. Matter of fact, he hasn't played a pro-style offense since before high school. He ran a power wing T in high school, then went to college and ran a similar version of that, then ran an option offense, and then came to Miami, and who knows what they run. It seems like they want to run a team. Right, exactly. They want to run a game plan that is off kilter. So who else are we gonna take? My thing was to bring back Jameis Winston, but there are things that have shown that marriage was destroyed. And go get Carson back. But
isn't Jameis Winston's birthday today too?
I thought it was a couple days ago, but
was it? I saw something on Twitter. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but it said 31 times around the sun today.
January.
I think it was a couple days ago.
It was yesterday.
So
I just can't disagree with you more on a lot of what what we just talked about. Coach of the year, Kevin O'Connell, huge quarterback upgrade. Sam Darnold shows up. Jayden Daniels in Washington turns the whole team around. Bo Nix turns the whole thing around in Denver. There are questions about Shedeur and Cam Ward, but you got nothing right now. I mean, that wasn't even
okay. Wait,
barely, I can't. You got to try. I hear you.
No, you don't.
For the second round.
No, you don't. And here's why. I'll use the teams that you just named. Look at all those teams and what they had around their quarterback before they got their quarterback. Versus what the Browns have. Joe Bitonio is struggling with right. They had a better offensive line than we had. Joe Bitonio is focusing is about to retire. Jedrick Wills doesn't want to play. DeJuan Jones keeps getting hurt. Jack Conklin keeps getting hurt. Ethan Postage is trash. You have no offensive line. You have no receivers. You bring up Washington. What does Washington have? They have receivers. They have a decent offensive line. I'm not saying it's good, but it's decent. They have a decent running back room. The Browns put way too much hope in these injuries being nullified because most of their healing time was in the offseason. And then you come back, and out of the 3 games we played, none of the guys I listed on the offensive line played together in any of those games or those games up to that point.
Commanders were terrible.
I'm sorry.
Commanders were terrible. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dylan.
Guys, I was thinking this year. I was thinking of giving my playoff quarterback rankings because I know you guys are going to blow gaskets when I tell you my playoff quarterback rankings. Number 14, Russell Wilson. 0-4, under 20 in all 4 of those games. 13, C.J. Stroud. From 23-5 touchdowns to INTs last year, 20-12 this year. 12, I feel wrong for putting Jayden Daniels at 12. But it's not because he's bad. It's that the other guys are that good. 11, my pick for offense rookie of the year, Bo Nix, setting the rookie record for home touchdowns. Touchdowns 29-12 on the year. 10, I don't know if I'm too high or too low, but Jalen Hurts scares me. He might win the Super Bowl or may not even play against the Packers. 9, Baker Mayfield. Good for pick a game, but by golly, he'll throw 3 or 4 touchdowns. 8, Jordan Love. Amazing talent, but Packers become a running team, and we don't know how healthy Jordan Love is. 7, he is seeing ghosts after all. That'd be Sam Darnold. After what happened on Sunday night. 6, this is not because of
Sam Darnold's not
Because-
good in prime light.
Well, nobody was. Peyton Manning stopped winning in Denver on Sunday night. Number 6, and this one's going to shock you, but my number 6 quarterback is 2-4 in the playoffs and 6-6 touchdown INT ratio. Lamar. 5, Jared Goff's been to the Super Bowl. He won in the Superdome. He beat Baker last year in the playoffs. Goff's 5-4. Stafford. Seemingly the only guy not named Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes for the Super Bowl. I know the Rams haven't put up points, but I think Stafford's got more in him. 3, Herbert. I understand Chargers with a 27-0 lead, but that wasn't Herbert's fault. It was Brandon Staley coaching like a freaking moron. 2, Josh Allen. Hopefully he doesn't end up like Dan Marino. And then 1, Patrick Mahomes. So where did I screw up?
Well, I can
Justin
definitely
Herbert.
say I agree. Since we're talking January,
I'm taking her out real quick. I'll be back.
Statistically, Patrick Mahomes did not have a good season this year. If this is January, February, I put him head and shoulders above everybody else. So I'm glad you put him at number 1.
I really don't have a problem with the list. I just have one question for my guy here who asked about Deshaun Watson, but I'll save that for later. If nobody's going to go, I'll just get it out of the way because it brings up Patrick Mahomes.
I
Do
mean,
you blame other teams for getting the right guy, even though there was a great quarterback in that draft?
I'm assuming you're talking to me, right?
Yep.
You have to try and get a quarterback. You cannot play in the NFL in 2024 with what I heard on the Brown streams on Sunday. Kirk Cousins, Jameis Winston. You gotta, if you have a chance to take a quarterback, you have to do it. Denver's winning because they did. That's exact. Bo Nix.
Denver's winning because they have the right pieces around Bo Nix, not because Bo Nix is great.
Like Denver had 80 million, had the largest cap hit in NFL history. That's why they have all these no-name guys.
But they have better pieces around their quarterback than what we would if we were to take Shador.
You're
telling me
you don't think you can get it right with Shador. That's kind of what I'm hearing from Browns fans. You don't think you can get it right with the quarterback, with Stefanski.
No, that's not it. This is not a quarterback draft. And again, you still haven't answered the question. Do you blame teams for getting the right guy when there's a better quarterback on the board?
I think quarterback trumps all if you don't have one. Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
So
I say I wouldn't.
You
got to do that.
So you would blame teams like Denver, who went ahead and took Patrick Surtain, who's now about to be the Defensive Player of the Year. You would blame the Browns for taking last year's Player of the Year when they needed a quarterback then. Because if we're going to be honest, we knew Deshaun Watson wasn't going to be it after his first season playing. And you're saying that everybody else who passed up on Lamar Jackson, who needed quarterbacks and who we all said should take Lamar, didn't, but we're not focused on who they drafted at those times.
And how'd that work out for the rest of the league? That's
half
my
of
point.
those, but in that time span, half of those teams have either found their quarterback later on after drafting pieces around for those guys that they eventually picked, versus picking a quarterback when you have so many holes everywhere else.
Lamar was a free agent last year. They could have had Lamar before the beginning of last season.
Actually, he wasn't.
He wasn't. Not last season. I think I'm talking about the season before.
He was franchise tagged. He wasn't a free agent.
He had an unrestricted franchise tag. Anybody could have bid on Lamar. They didn't even put the exclusive tag on him. $29 million could have got you Lamar. He even asked to be released. You get the guy, it matters the most. I'm sorry, quarterback that trumps all. You can have all the pieces you want around them, but and again, that doesn't mean you win the Super Bowl. But if I'm the Browns and I have a chance to find a franchise, Now, either you don't believe these guys are it, which is possible, or you don't believe you got a coach that can do it.
But the very first thing I said was this was a weak quarterback class. The next two drafts have way better quarterbacks, and we have holes that we can fix now so that when we do get the quarterback, it's not a waste of a pick, and we're not doing the same thing that we did before.
Okay. I mean, I understand. I mean, I think I don't think these two quarterbacks in the first two at least are worth taking early, especially if I don't have one, and you don't have one. You know, maybe if you like Sam Darnold or you have Cat, I don't know, maybe, but like you're gonna have the same record next year if you don't, you know, if you take Watson or Cousins or whatever. Rebuilding in the NFL doesn't need to take 5-6 years.
It doesn't. But Houston, and that's a great point. Houston went out and got their quarterback, and they did well. But let's not forget all the other pieces that they had. They still had Nico Collins. They still had the guys that they had on defense, and Jalen Petrie. They still had Derek Stingley Jr. They still had other pieces that we give them credit for now. Name a team that's absolutely terrible that drafted a quarterback that had no other pieces around it, that are no Pro Bowlers, no All-Star considered guys that went to the playoffs the next year.
You're saying it right, Evan. The quarterback doesn't throw
Terry
the ball to
McLaurin
himself either.
Terry McLaurin's been there and they've been losing.
Right, but they had
Terry McLaurin's been good.
But right, that's my point. They had something there for the quarterback. Name it. You really think that Jerry Jeudy's going to go for 1,000 yards next year?
I almost said
the
Commanders picked second in the draft. That's why they got Jaden Daniels. They picked second in the draft. They were terrible.
Right.
So was Denver.
But they had other pieces.
Okay. Well, we can talk. We can go on and on.
We don't have the weapons that these other teams have had who have success when drafting a quarterback. We don't have the pieces. So why go get another quarterback? So why go get another quarterback to get them to add to the same jersey that we're mocked for when we can go get pieces that'll help sustain our future?
Exactly.
But are you going? My question into this whole thing is a couple fold, because you guys all know, Charles, I'm not sure if you've heard me talk about this or not. You draft a quarterback that fits your system. You don't draft the system to fit your quarterback. Just because all the hype and all the whatever says Shedeur Sanders should be the first quarterback in the draft. Me personally, I think Shedeur is extremely overrated and is fantastic from the neck down, from the neck up. I question him completely. I feel the same way about Cam Ward. You get some of these other guys, the Dylan Gabriels, the Jackson Darts, that are more pro-ready, that you can put into a system. But it gets back to the thing of, are you going to keep your coach? Are you going to keep your coordinators? Because it does not make any sense. And as much as I'm going to hammer Caleb forever, and I've called him Ryan Leaf because I think he's the most overrated number one quarterback in a long
48% QBR rating. That is just phenomenal.
But he was the first Bears quarterback since
I knew Hurricane was going to get
every game in a regular season for the Bears.
But the big thing with it is,
actually,
are you going to have the kid come in and change coordinators every time you turn around? No. Evan, you guys can vouch for this on your end. Cleveland has changed coaches every couple of years forever. Lots of teams have been doing that.
The Bills did.
My cohort to the left of me on the screen wants us to change coaches. If we don't make it to the Super Bowl, change coaches every year. Which is the absolute most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of in my life. If we don't make it to the Super Bowl, fire him, bring somebody else in. Okay, whatever. But you've got to build
today
the program.
It's been 8 years. It's been 8 years and 3 days now since our last playoff win.
And don't you think that there's about 16 other teams that would like to be in the position the Steelers are in this weekend?
I don't give a shit about other teams, Rich.
We got and we. I'm going to put this one out there for you because I got about 6 minutes till I got to go. I'm going to throw this one out there for you.
Too.
We got the best draw we could have gotten.
Oh, we don't. We're gonna get our asses smoked. Ravi, are you joining us tomorrow night?
Yeah, I am.
We got the
9
best
o'clock
draw
tomorrow,
we
Rav.
could have gotten.
Why do you? Yeah, but Rich, I want to hear this because you're going at Baltimore. I really want to hear your reasoning.
What is the only defensive scheme that has shut Lamar Jackson down?
Well, yeah, Pittsburgh
consistently for the last 5 years.
Pittsburgh teams.
Yeah, and if they play like they can play, they're gonna smoke the living shit out of us.
And if the Steelers defense plays the way that they can play, which now that there's everybody healthy, they can. Well, I'm telling you, playing the Chargers would have been a very bad situation. Playing help me.
Baltimore.
Denver.
No, the other option that we had.
Denver. Or Houston.
Houston.
Thank you. Houston. Same situation. We hadn't played Houston yet this year. Not super sure what to expect. Those kinds of things. You play the Ravens twice a year. Yeah, that big bad wolf wearing number 8. Yeah, he's a bad dude. There's no question about that. But you know how to control him.
It's 22.
Oh, by the way, the Steelers control 22 at the same time.
And that guy that Rav mentioned earlier, that defensive player guy that I have on my fantasy team that I will not let go. I got offered 3 years of first-round picks for him, and I will not let him go. His name's Cal Hamilton. He's pretty good. And I think Russ's arm has finally shown up like Joe Flacco's did towards the end of his year last year. I think he's just done.
All I'm telling you is this. If that game is kept under 40 points total.
It's not.
If that game is kept under 40 points total, the Steelers win.
There's no way. There's no way.
Rich,
Joe,
I've
I
been wanting to
predict
ask
it would
you
be a
this
close
question.
game.
Rich, I've been wanting to ask you this question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read you this. I'm gonna read you 2 stats from 2 players. I'm not gonna tell you the players.
Okay.
First player, 62.5 completion rate, 35-41 as passing yards, 20 touchdowns, and 6 picks.
Mr. Caleb.
Second quarterback, 69%, 35-68 with 25 touchdowns and 9 picks.
Okay. I'm guessing
Do you
one's
really
Russ.
think that? No, it's Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams.
I had Caleb Williams stats
Did
pulled
you-
up already because I was going to talk about it. 62.5, 35-41 yards, 6.3 yards at the time, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks. And I want to give him credit for one thing. You know what? He's the only quarterback to do this season, other than Josh Allen. Throw multiple touchdown passes versus the Detroit Lions defense. He's the only QB out of everybody we faced all season to do it.
You heard what I actually said, Jeremy, right? About a fact
Jeremy,
about,
but that game on Thanksgiving shouldn't even gotten that close.
you said this like 100 times, Adam. I'm talking here, all right? Okay, I'm just kidding. I love you, but but what I was gonna say though that but what I was gonna say, Jeremy, is this fact I saw it. He's actually the first Bears quarterback since Jay Cutler to start every single game in the season for the Bears.
Right.
I know it doesn't sound like a great accomplishment, but for him, at least from his point of view, it is Caleb's point of view.
I'm not convinced Caleb is terrible yet. I think it's taking him a little longer than everybody's thinking.
His offensive line was poop. His offensive line was poopy.
They dealt him everything he
the way
fucking
DeAndre
wanted.
couldn't run the ball.
They dealt him everything he fucking wanted.
I agree, but sometimes guys do take a little longer.
His offensive line was poopy diapers.
But if
I
you
got
get
news
him
for
the
you.
right
If
coach,
Russ had those receivers right now, Steelers would have won the division. If he had Keenan Allen and DJ Moore to throw to instead of these couple of schmucks he's got sitting there now.
Your offensive line is better than the Bears, though, Rich.
If you gave Russ Romaduzzi, right? If you gave Russ Romaduzzi, Keenan Allen, and DJ Moore to throw to, come on. Compared to Pickens, Austin, who I like Austin, and
I love Austin, and to know that.
And I'm with you. I was lukewarm on him start of the year. Love him. Who's the 3? You put those 3 on the Steelers, they would have won the division.
And y'all not gonna like this about
because
Caleb
they have a
Williams.
better offensive line.
You're not gonna like this next thing I say about Caleb Williams. It's gonna sound like a lame answer, but that's the best division in the NFL he's in too. I mean, He had to play Green Bay, he had to play Minnesota, he had to play Detroit.
And remember, he did start out 4-2 before everything went downhill.
Right, but he also had 11 other chances to win games.
Yeah.
So if he gets a Pete Carroll, or if he gets, a Mike McCarthy,
he's not getting Mike McCarthy
with that same roster.
I don't think
McCarthy
blocked Mike McCarthy from interviewing them. Now I saw it.
I don't either, but he's also. I don't think he's a good coach.
Right.
But I will give him credit in the fact that he has one, and that's something that the Bears haven't had in a coach.
But they're not going to be able to get McCarthy. The Cowboys blocked the Bears from interviewing him now.
Yeah, but like we were talking about before,
he's a free agent.
Who was talking about that before we got here? January 14th?
Yeah, January 14th, he becomes a free agent.
His contract is up in 2 weeks.
I looked it up.
Contract's up next week.
It was on ESPN. It said the Cowboys blocked.
Next Tuesday, his contract is
now.
He was coaching this year on the last year of his deal, so they blocked it for a little while, but they could still go talk to him. Anyway, it's not like they're in the playoffs or anything. They could just wait. Another 2 weeks. They'd probably be waiting on.
I think they're going to keep McCarthy because he does what Jerry Jones tells him to do. And Rich, you've said that you've said that 1,000 times on this show.
Jerry can find that with anybody. Jerry can find that with anybody who is trying to stay in the NFL circle. He can find that with any coach that is on the fringe of not being an NFL coach.
Fire Jimmy Johnson because Jimmy Johnson didn't get along with Jerry Jones.
I'm going to rebuttal with one thing.
But that's my point. Jimmy Johnson wasn't going to bend over and let.
If he's going to get rid of Mike McCarthy, then why did he refuse all the teams that called looking for the interview for him? That's the Saints, that's the Bears, and that's the Jets.
It's not that he's going. It's not that he's getting. It's not that he's. It's not that he's getting rid of him. It's that he's leaving.
In Jerry's mind, these other teams are going to pick their new coaches before McCarthy's contract ends, so he won't be able to go to those teams, and Dallas won't have to lose to McCarthy. In Jerry's mind,
right?
Which is always right, by the way.
I do think they may try and retain him at the last second, or at least they're talking about it. I don't know if they will, but I think that's the other reason why. Why would you? Yeah, if they're for sure letting him go, I'm not sure they've made up their mind. They should have by now, of course. But
weren't there talks of extension for McCarthy in the middle of the season?
Yeah, there
were. If they made the playoffs and if they won a playoff game and all that kind of stuff, yeah. But when Dak got hurt,
I didn't know there were stipulations.
Baby. Yeah, when Dak got hurt, it was church.
Even if he didn't get hurt, we knew that wouldn't happen.
So while I was letting the dog out, Rich, before I go, I didn't hear.
Do you believe if Dak stay healthy, they make the playoffs?
Did I miss the rookie of the year conversation?
Quite possibly they do, Evan. Do what now?
No.
Did I miss the rookie of the year conversation?
No,
we didn't do that.
Rookie of the year.
Rich,
and actually, I got to bug out.
Rich, who you got?
I got to bug out here in a minute.
Dallas' problem was they couldn't run the football to save their lives, and that wasn't Dak's fault.
Guys, we're gonna get back to this conversation because Rich got to bug out, but I did want to at least cover the end of this topic before the show, before we had people bug out. Rich, go ahead, start us off. Who you got
for rookies of the year?
Yeah.
Offensive rookie of the year, give me Brock Bowers. You look at what he's done with that crappy team and not knowing who the heck his quarterback's going to be and all that kind of stuff. I'll take Brock Bowers as my offensive rookie of the year. Defensive rookie of the year. Boy. Cooper DeJean out of Philly.
Over Quentin Mitchell or Quinyon Mitchell?
Barely, but yes.
All right. I'm going to head out too. I'm going to give you mine. I'm pretty much chalk as far as the offensive player, Jaden Daniels. I don't think there's any disputing that. And defense, I'm going to go. I think his first name is Ree, and his last name is Verse. Reverse. No, Jared Verse for defensive rookie of the year.
All right. Rich, we are gonna talk tomorrow about this game, right?
Yeah, I'm good for an hour or so.
All right. Rav, you joining us, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you two bugging out, how do they get a hold of you? And then I'll see you tomorrow. Joe, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Rich, go ahead. You can share first.
Okay. Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it this year. Go Big, Go Home Pod. Facebook, it's just my name, Rich Richardson. And, of course, here on Driving to the Top, be ready. Got something a little new coming up. Adam knows what we're talking about. We got something coming up here in the next probably 7 weeks that I'll be doing that I'm looking forward to for the network.
Josh, you listening? I don't know if my son's still up yet or not. But
see you guys next week.
All right, Rich, take it easy.
Have a good one, Rich.
And Joe Dell Sports for me. And then, of course, Jamie and I have our Buffalo Sports Conversation Room that hopefully we'll be talking about some good a Buffalo Bills victory next week. So good hanging out with you guys. Good luck. And
right,
we'll see you next week.
All right, buddy.
Before we continue, I got 10 minutes.
All right. So who are you taking rookie of the year, Jeff?
Offensive and defensive. Offensive rookie of the year, it was kind of tough, but I'm just going to go with what my first guess was, and that's Jaden Daniels. And for me, defensive rookie of the year, it would have been Cooper DeJean, but going back and looking at how Quinyon Mitchell played, I think two of them on the same team and at the same position kind of hurts each other, and that's what got me to the point for Jared Verse.
Jamie?
I can't believe nobody said this yet, but offensive rookie of the year, I got Malik Neighbors.
Who you got defense?
Cooper DeJean.
Cooper. I had to buy that jersey for a kid in my fantasy league because we made a jersey bet. Maybe that's a sign. I lost.
The reason why I said Malik Neighbors is because he was able to put up 1,100 yards during a lost season, and he didn't have any idea who was throwing him the ball at the end of the year after Daniel Jones.
Jeremy?
Mine is Brian Thomas Jr. The guy had 600 yards with Mac Jones as a fucking quarterback and 5 touchdowns with him.
Where's Dylan? Dylan left, but he'd love to hear you say that.
I don't know where Dylan went. He went to go get a drink. That was the last time I remember seeing him.
I think he heard Brian Thomas Jr. and had to make a bathroom stop. But anyway,
I agree with that, Jeremy. I wanted the Bills to get him, but I'm happy we got Keon Coleman. So.
I mean, he's leading all receivers as far as the rookies are concerned. He has more touchdowns. That's my only knock on Brock Bowers. He has 1,000,000 yards, but he has as many touchdowns as I have fingers on my hands.
But what's impressive about Brock Bowers is he did it as a tight end, as a rookie, getting 1,000 yards. That's hard. Like when you see 1,000-yard rookie receiver, that's expected, but not from a rookie tight end to get 1,000 yards.
Go ahead. I had a question, but go ahead.
But my defensive guy is Jared Verse.
I won't be too long. I'm gonna say one name that I kind of had on my list. He's not, but Ladd McConkey, I think it's worth talking about as far as offensive rookie of the year. He's not my choice, but I'm gonna say Jaden Daniels, a little bit over Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix has been really good for Denver, but I think Neighbors and McConkey are really good. Defense, the two guys on Philly, I think it's tempting to take those guys. Our guy Nate Wiggins was pretty good. I thought he was pretty good, but you got to say Jared Verse of the Rams. I think that the Rams defense is incredible considering they lost like Aaron Donald, and they've gotten as far as they've gotten.
I went with Jaden Daniels too. 148 rushing attempts and still managed 800 yards on it. And he threw for over 3,500. That's awesome. Pretty damn good for a rookie.
What's up, Joey?
And then Jared Verse as well. That's who I went with. Yeah, I don't know where
Dylan went.
Yeah, he went to go get water. That was the last I saw him.
I got that water. Yeah, I got that water. I got that water.
Running 5 miles a day. I'm sure he's thirsty. All that.
I love that song.
What do he do? What do he do? Walk down to the beach. Hey, Joey emailed you, Jerm.
Yep, I saw that.
And we're having a full conversation outside the conversation.
I'm having a whole bunch of conversations outside the situation because I was like, "Go ahead, talk." Because everybody was.
All right. Got. I think I'm the only one that has teams left in this college football playoff.
That's not true. I got the champion.
So do I.
Who you got?
I have Ohio State and Penn State playing, and then I took Penn State.
Oh, you got Penn State winning the championship?
I do, because I called this the revenge tour. And right now it's happening. Ohio State beat Oregon, and now Penn State's going to walk in and beat OSU.
So we play y'all while Notre Dame plays Georgia. And you're telling me with a coaching staff that if they don't win a national championship, loses their job.
Brandy, yep.
The entire staff will be gone except for the wide receivers coach.
You think he gets fired if he doesn't win the whole thing?
He's lost to Michigan 4 years in a row.
Games. He's lost 4 games, and
I'll put you like this, and I see you wearing that Michigan hat, and you know just as well as I know.
I'm wearing a what?
I'm wearing a Michigan.
I was wearing a Michigan hat.
I was like, wait a minute.
I'm gonna say this, and as silly as it does sound, you know it's true.
Put it this way.
For these, nope. For these two teams, it doesn't matter who the fuck they lose to, except for the game. They can lose every game every year. As long as they win the rivalry, it don't matter. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, because there was actually a poll done, and 80% of both fan bases said they would rather beat the other one than win a national championship. Beating Ohio State validated Michigan's season. It totally turned the fan base around.
If he doesn't win a national championship, you have to understand that he's gotten the 2 quarterfinals in the national championship and hasn't won.
Hey, Dylan.
And he would be the only coach in Ohio State history in the last 25 years to have seniors graduate who don't have gold pants.
I don't even know what that is.
You get gold pants for beating Michigan.
Oh, okay.
I'm not even trying to talk shit to you, and I'm being honest. You're one of the few that's in that 20% that wants the national championship more. Am I wrong, Evan? and Dylan walked out before
I want him to lose. I hate Ryan Day. I absolutely hate Ryan Day. He puts on too much fucking makeup for them rosy ass cheeks, and then he can't recruit. He cannot recruit to save his life.
Okay. Now I'm wearing a Michigan hat. I'm not a Michigan guy actually. So my team is Maryland. So let's just get that out of the way. All right. So just to be clear, but I'm just saying they are probably the best team in college football. They've already gotten. They're going to beat Texas, I think, for sure. They're definitely going to beat Texas for sure. But that's not enough.
That was my other concern, real quick. I thought the NCAA was trying to hold these to no practical home games for these champions for the whole thing. And what's Texas get? A home game in Dallas Stadium.
And that's the problem with doing it as these prestige bowl games. These prestige bowl games need to be counted as the first couple, and then the rest be considered the playoffs. The lower number ones that we played in the first round of the playoff, those need to go to the schools that didn't make it. So that way there is no home game.
There's a Joey in the chat.
Right, but they could have put Texas in the bracket of the Orange Bowl and had them be going to Miami in this round.
Joey Uso, it's because Quinn Ewers is more inconsistent than a man with IBS who just ate Taco Bell.
No, but
Quinn
Ewers
it's not
about Quinn.
He's dropped a ton.
Since he got hit where he got hurt, he hasn't been the same. The reason that Ohio State beats Texas is because the last two teams that Texas has played in the college football playoff, the things they struggle with are the things that Ohio State has been doing to dominate Tennessee.
Winning the line of scrimmage, like Kirk
on both sides of the ball. So there's that. And then we got that man. You telling me we went from
Jeremiah Smith,
yeah.
We went from Chris Olave to Emeka Egbuka to Marvin Harrison, and now we got one that looks better than them, yet alone better than what we saw when we first saw that man, Julio Jones. So that's the offensive side of the ball, because we're not talking about how the quarterback Will Howard is finally looking like he knows how to play quarterback again. The only thing I worry with him is
I thought that was pathetic. They kept him off the stage at the final. I thought that was pathetic.
Oh yeah.
They wouldn't let him up on stage. That was pathetic.
Just wanted to have a little bit of power in the moment. That's all that was. And then you got to look at the defense. We got speed at the corner spot. I agree with you. But as an Ohio State fan, for you to say you'd rather have a national championship than beating Michigan, I just don't understand it. I just don't. But yeah, no.
I'd rather have both. I'd rather have both. That's just my own personal opinion.
I agree. But for me, before I get out of here, I have Ohio State beating Notre Dame 35-28 in the national championship.
Okay. I have Ohio State, Penn State.
I think it's Penn State. I think it's Ohio State over Penn State. I think Penn State. I think they're the best bridesmaid I've ever seen. Like, they've been third in the Big Ten for the longest time, and they've been behind two phenomenal teams. And even this year with Oregon, they were behind them as well. Penn State is top 5 for years. I don't think they're going to be just the national bridesmaid, not beating Ohio State. They'll beat Notre Dame. They'll beat Notre Dame. They're gonna outscore them.
That was another phenomenal stat by Notre Dame. 14 turnovers turned into 148 points off turnovers. I thought that was a pretty phenomenal stat.
Notre Dame's defense is like a concrete wall. They don't give up the big plays.
No. There's another team good up front. Like they don't have the skill people. I don't think Penn State has, but they're always really good up front.
Mm-hmm.
I had that wrong. So it's Notre Dame and Penn State. I still got Notre Dame winning that game.
I just didn't understand that. We talked like why they didn't put Texas in the Orange Bowl bracket, then having them have a home game at Dallas Stadium.
I just think it's wild how hard, like, Freeman's getting an extension, getting this far, and all I hear when it's Ryan Day is he's got to go, he's out of here, he's this. Notre Dame hasn't had anywhere close to success Ohio State has had, and they just won and gone. Like, because
you're 66-4 as a head coach in the Big Ten. You can't beat one team. You dominate every team in the Big Ten and in the college football playoffs by throwing to be able to run, and then you go against the team up north and continue to run the ball and don't throw it. They consistently show every year, whether they have Will Johnson or a great defensive line, that they can't stop the receivers. Why are you still trying to run the ball? That's why he's on the chopping block.
Michigan's hit him at Michigan. It's like the Ravens and the Steelers. They know each other well, and Michigan's hitting them in the mouth. They got a little bit more finesse, and that's why they're losing to Michigan. But otherwise, like you just said, it's 66-4. 66-4, bro. Like they haven't.
Like yes, but that's also the standard at Ohio State.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
So here's my other thing. With the 4 bye weeks, did we see that was a big mistake? Because none of the 1 through 4s won.
None of them. All 4 of them done. One and done.
They should do it based on the best 12 teams, not if you win your conference or not, but still have the first round buys.
No first round buys. You know what? There should be 1 first round bye and do it as a double-sided bracket coming in instead of just one side going across.
Right.
You have 1 bye. Have your 16 play. Boom. You got 3 going to 1, right?
Uh-huh.
It's 1 bye on each side. The number 1, the number 2 should be the only bye.
And then what happens when 1 and 2 lose?
That's fine. I'm just saying you can't have 4 teams on a bye. It's awful. It was an awful look.
Is it when they're still trying to have the other bowl games go on?
Can still have the other bowl games go on with 1 bye with each team.
I don't care anything about those games, frankly.
No,
I haven't watched them.
We don't. But when I was in college, when I was in high school, I enjoyed those bowl games just as much as I did the playoff and the BCS. Those other games mattered. It was exciting to see Hawaii with Cole Brennan go play somebody that you would never think Hawaii would go play, or Western Michigan winning 52-51 on a Hail Mary with a lateral and making a guy miss at the goal line. Like those games bring bettors money and views to college football. So they're trying to find a way to marriage the two. Unless you just want them to say F the season, y'all got 10 games, and then the rest of after the 10 games, it's March Madness for football.
Have you seriously watched any other bowl game?
Yes.
I did. I watched all of them. I watched Syracuse beat Washington State.
I'm a draft junkie. I watch bowl games for a reason. How many in the last 5 years? How many times have y'all watched the Senior Bowl?
5.
I haven't missed one. I'm right here with Jeremy.
Usually for my draft stuff, I usually just just click players or whatever in the boards. I don't necessarily need to watch the Senior Bowl for the most. Like I do that more with baseball, like the College World Series. I really want to watch it because that's the best chance to really watch players. But I don't really.
I'm trying to get
football
press credentials to go to all of those: the Shrine Game, the East-West, the All-American Bowl, and the HBCU Bowl. Why? Because that's how you find gems. And I want to do it for my writing for scouting players. Because it'll be better for me to see them in play with NFL coaches. Because that's what happens is they have NFL coaches coach all those guys at that time.
That's how Mr. Irrelevant gets picked. That's how they find, a Max Crosby. That's how they find some of the
Amon-Ra
guys.
St. Brown.
I mean,
Right.
Ozzie Newsome and Eric DeCosta will tell you the Senior Bowl practices for them is it. They find out more there than they do anywhere else. Yeah, I'm not knocking it. I just don't.
I'm just saying, if I could get the press credentials and be down there for the practices, I'll get to see all that plus the game. And I love the game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Those games, those kids play harder in that game than they do in half the bowl games. Because guess what?
Their whole
That
life's
one's
on the
about
line.
their NFL professional life. Whereas those bowl games, half of them don't even go to them anymore because they want to go to the draft.
Their whole life's on the line in that Senior Bowl practice. I've seen guys go up 2 and 3 rounds. Rogers Cromartie went up 3 rounds because he was outstanding at the Senior Bowl. He was like a 4th round. He went to the 1st.
Perrion Winfrey went from undrafted to a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
And showed that he could play. He just couldn't stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Same thing with Mike Hall. Mike Hall Jr. was showed out at the Senior Bowl. If you were an Ohio State fan, you knew who he was, but the rest of the country didn't. And then he shows out. We find offensive linemen there every year. I'm not saying this to knock you or to try to convince you to watch it. I'm just saying, like, to me, that's the greatest point of the offseason that everybody gets to enjoy. To me.
I don't know. I haven't. I've seen the scores, but that's it. But I mean, I work too damn much anyway. So
Who watched
Same.
the Division II championship that was on yesterday?
I got it recorded. I'm about to watch it.
Montana State versus NDSU. I was making fun because the one guy's a big Montana State fan.
Mhm.
I said, "Oh, Mud State and New Depends." Because I call Notre Dame Notre Shame. I call Purdue Perdon't. I got a nickname for all those teams. You know what I mean? The Falcons are the fail cants. They did it again this year. They can't get there. They failed.
I absolutely agree. But I gotta go, guys. You can find me at Sports Talking by the Lake. You can find me on Twitter at Sports Talking by the Lake at Brogdon Evan. I mentioned last time I was on here that I had a new show coming that was going to come to the network. We're definitely going to do that. And now that it is no longer peak season and I don't have anything else to worry about, you'll have a full off season of Browns sports, Cavs basketball. By the way, there's a big game coming up tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Wednesday, and then Jamie and I will also be starting up our UFL show. You guys are more than welcome to come and talk sports with us. We went to the last inaugural UFL.
I still got my shirt, Evan. I still got my USFL shirt.
I still got the shirt. I still got the seat pad. Seat pad.
I got the seat pad too.
I was at a party, otherwise I wouldn't have went.
We got all that stuff. Adam and I sat together. We ended up being on the Jumbotron. It was a great experience. Hopefully they find a way to do it again at the Hall of Fame so we can meet there or wherever it is. We'll figure out how to save some money and do it again. But
that was fun.
I would
love. We need to get back in touch with Ace and all them guys too.
Yep, absolutely.
I talked to Luke. I still talk to Luke.
How's he doing?
Good. He's got his own show now too.
I got the ultimate scenario.
What's that, buddy?
We all said that this quarterback class is mid, right? At best.
Yeah.
Like none of them should be in the top 10 technically, right?
First round.
We said
borderline. That. Yeah. So what if they make a deal and they can trade some picks ahead of time, but Kirk doesn't leave until when they save the Falcons money by trading them after June 1st. And the Jets trade for Kirk.
The only thing I want the NFL to do is allow the Cleveland Browns to draft Jeremiah Smith with the number 2 pick in the 2025 draft. That's it. That's the only thing I would change. Go get him right now.
Lock him up.
No thanks, only Zeus.
But peace.
Evan, we'll talk. We'll talk about everything in the near future. And
Likewise, I'm off tomorrow. Charles, it's nice to meet you. I love to argue, so we got to do that some more. Adam, I'm off tomorrow, so just give me a call at any time.
All right. If you want to talk before me and Rich go live, we're going live tomorrow night.
Oh, Evan, how is my intro coming for the season 2 of the baseball?
It's very hard to find edited clips when you don't have photographers at those games. So I'm kind of piecing stuff together, trying to figure some stuff out. I don't want to have your new players in wrong jerseys and mix them in with the guys who are already there. So I'm trying to find a way to edit it so that it, it shows the right way, but it's close.
Okay.
But
Cool.
Peace out, guys.
All right, Ev.
I don't care what he says. I still say Bob Quinn's the reason why they have Deshaun Watson. That guy got me fired. He's good.
I don't understand their love for. I don't understand their love for that guy at all.
I mean, they're not going to get better unless they take. You can't. I mean, I understand what he was saying. I mean, but that's just how it is. I wish it wasn't too. Like you could build a whole team. Very rarely does it work where you can build everything else and then just put the piece in at quarterback. You got to start and then go the other way.
And if you don't want to draft the quarterback, then you have to do something like what the Lions did.
Trade.
You have to have a trade where you get rid of your old guy, get a younger guy that at the same level he was when you traded him. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look statistically, Matt Stafford and Jared Goff are not far apart.
No, they're practically the same two quarterbacks. Like
the only thing is Jared Goff is a little smarter, so he has a better completion percentage, and he's not forcing the ball as much. His first couple of years he did, but he doesn't have to force the ball in as much into double coverage.
Nobody wanted Goff. Nobody wanted look at everything the line. That was the best trade they ever made. They got so much and got a guy just about as good as the guy they had. That was one of the best trades. I think that might be one of the most underrated trades in NFL history.
It was one of the best, most even trades at the time there's ever been.
Exactly.
Rams didn't have picks for years. I think it hurt them. It started to hurt them because the Lions had all the picks.
We had their third and 2 first back to back. Third and 2 first.
You look at a lot of their good players, they were 5th round, 4th round, because they didn't have any. It was.
At least they didn't do like last year. And I'm not talking about this past draft. I'm talking about the year before with the 49ers that didn't have a 1 through 2 draft. And with their first pick in the compensatory round, picked Jake Booty Moody.
Right.
That's their first pick of the draft at 99. Jake Booty Moody.
A kicker.
A kicker that misses field goal.
Who misses field goal? Yeah. Who wasn't even? Yeah.
Whereas he did it the Super Bowl record last year, though.
Yeah,
that's nice. Did they win?
Yeah.
Steve Christie had the old record, and they didn't win either.
Yeah,
right. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, but you can't blame a loss like that on him though when he did a personal accomplishment. But yeah,
you gotta like as a team you gotta want to get better. I think that another team I really think about a lot is like Chris Ballard's going to keep his job in Indy. That's kind of the same deal to me. Like you got to want to get better. Ballard forever has this cap room, doesn't make the team better. They kind of just stuck in the middle. That doesn't work. You can't. And that's kind of the cycle I see in Cleveland. That's not going to work. You gotta go out there and get it. If you don't think Shedeur is picked early, then pick him later. Or take Carson back. You got to start right now getting your quarterback and trying. Like Steelers did with Pickett. Didn't work out. Okay, get him out of there. Try again. But you don't just say, well, we need to do everything else and not. You can't. That's never going to work in as far as quarterback.
I agree, but I thought they went too early on Pickett, but that's just me.
Oh, you talking about Pittsburgh that year? Oh, 100%. The pick they should have took is the one that went to the Ravens right after him, like 4 or 5 picks later, Tyler Linderbaum. That would have been the better pick for him that year.
I thought we should have taken Cal Hamilton in that pick, but that's just me.
Both of those guys went before Pickett. They were already gone. I know,
Tyler Linderbaum went 25. Pickett went 20.
I know, but I mean, I would have traded. Like
Hamilton went 14.
Yeah, when I seen,
Kyle Hamilton for sure, I know was earlier than Pickett was.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like that's who I would have taken. I would have went after Kyle Hamilton. Him and Minkah back there, whew, that'd be ugly.
Kyle Hamilton, like there was a lot of people like at training camp, they were saying, "Oh, this guy isn't," he got beat a couple times. It takes guys a while. Some guys, rookies, they come right in. Some guys don't. They take a while for them to come in.
Rav, you're not going to hear me talk anything bad on Kyle Hamilton.
I think the Steelers defense is good. I think like the defense is good. I think it's, if anything's wrong with the Steelers defense, it's vanilla. Like I think a lot of teams have kind of figured out what Tomlin does. He's got some really good players though. But I think I don't think everything. You don't need to be. I don't think everybody needs to be Bill Belichick and exotic and everything like that. You can be vanilla and still have a strong defense. I think they have a strong defense to fight, despite the fact that it's vanilla. I don't think they do anything the Ravens wouldn't be expecting on Sunday. But you don't need to. I mean, TJ Watt, hey, he can take 2 guys and knock them over, whenever he wants.
Absolutely. Jeremy, you got big news today with David Montgomery being cleared to play for next week.
Not only David Montgomery, Terrion Arnold, and Kevin Zeitler are all cleared to play for next week. That's huge.
I think they even would have been cleared this week if they were needed.
Right. I really didn't care about winning or losing the game just because of having to go on the road, because we are the only team to go undefeated on the road this season. I wasn't worried about going on the road. The reason why I wanted to win that game is because I was sick and tired of when I did my show, all the Minnesota Vikings fans all week going, "Your beat up defense isn't as good as our starting defense. We're healthy. We're going to beat you guys by 40 points," is what I heard all week in my chat.
Now look, Van Ginkel is very, very good.
Van Ginkel is amazing. Van Ginkel's amazing. Jonathan,
he's on my fantasy. He's on my fantasy team too. So I get having defensive players on fantasy really, really lets you see a little bit more into the game. I didn't realize it's harder. Like during the week, you're like, shit, I got 8 teams now. I got to worry about defense. But you do pay attention to those names that catch your attention, and that was one of them.
Harrison Smith they said it during the game, he's the oldest starter in the NFL at safety in the secondary. Yep. He had another pick. He's been maybe him and Mike Evans have been 2 of the most underrated great players I think ever. Like Harrison Smith's been good for a long time.
Is Mike Evans close to being GOAT status for regular season?
I mean, next year, if he gets 1,000 yards again, he'll have broke Jerry Rice's record. If you break a Jerry Rice record, that's that's hard. I mean, just think about how long it's been since Jerry Rice has been gone.
You want Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase?
I don't think he's a better player than Justin Jefferson, but I think he's under. I would say Mike Evans, modern day Art Monk. Art Monk was really good for a long time, and then Mike Evans is what he's been able to accomplish. Justin Jefferson might break the record. I don't know. Receivers drop off at 30 more than what people think. Everybody says running backs do, but receivers absolutely do too.
Mike Evans just turned 31, right?
Yeah.
He didn't drop off this year.
No, he did not.
Still got his 1,000. That's a bad man. I'm sorry.
With that extra game, how much does that help him though?
Well, considering he needed 5 yards at the end of it, I think he was 65 yards short to start the game. Didn't he get 65 yards exactly? And just like Jameson Williams, who missed 2 games, he needed 33 yards. How many did he get? 34. He got his 1,000.
Well, with Mike Evans, though, he missed like 3 or 4 games. So I don't think, it's extra games.
That's right. He was injured. That's right.
But he missed like 3 or 4 games. It made it even,
So he technically did it in under 16 games. So that does make it impressive.
And there's not.
Jameson Williams got his in under 16 games too because he missed 2 games. So that's 15. Everybody's like, "Oh, he's not getting 1,000 now."
Wasn't he also held out of
I gotta get going, guys.
Yeah. All right, James, how people get you, buddy?
You guys can follow me, yours truly, at Jamie at Bill's Chat 1 at Bill's Mafia Chat, and also at Jamie Malloy, the unbiased journalist at DJ Dogtags on X. You can also follow me at theforkball.com, where I write about all different types of sports. You can also follow me on Jeremy's podcast when he brings me on as a guest on his platform, and also you can follow me and Joe Dalio on our podcast, the Buffalo Sports Conversation, where we just recorded an episode, and then you can also find me on Open Mic Night here. And so for more content on Driving to the Top Productions, please visit our YouTube page, Twitch stream, Facebook stream, X stream, wherever you consume your podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment, and click the bell for notifications because we're always driving to the top. Thank you for listening, guys.
All right, James. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, I gotta get up early too here, so I gotta go as well.
All right, Rev. We'll see you tomorrow night, but how people get you?
All right, so it's raverysports.company.site is the website where you can get Ravens jerseys like this one. I have Oriole jerseys as well, so definitely check us out on our website. Ravery Sports Podcast is this week. Talked about it a little bit on Dylan's stream this week, but also to NFL Ravens or NFL playoffs, college football playoff, and starting our series top 10 each position. This week, we're going to talk about who are the best catchers in MLB. Maybe there'll be a Pirates or Tigers player on both of those lists, so you can check it out.
For catchers?
You got to watch it.
Are you talking about best all time or best in the league right now?
Best in the league right now. I don't think there's no.
There ain't no Pirate best in the league at catching, buddy.
No, there's not. Once we get to start,
if you were going all time, we'd go like Tony Pena. We could go Jason Kendall. We could go Manny Sanguian. We could go on here.
Once we get to starting pitcher, we'll see. We'll see some Pirates and Tigers for sure. Definitely.
Jerry Breck, Steve Blast.
I know if you're going all time,
maybe even honorable mentions right there.
Yeah.
In case you don't know who that one is.
Oh, Knuckleball. Yeah, I know who he is. All right. You guys
I ordered it for my dad, Jerm, and I didn't realize it, and the guy that got it for me didn't realize it, and when I wrapped it up, I go, "This is a fucking medium. It's never gonna fit my dad." So I was like, "Do you want the same jersey in your size, or do you want me to get you a different one?" And he's like, "Give me that same one, dude. I really like that one." So that's what happened there. Jerm, then there were 2.
And there's 2. This is what happens every night. About this time, just before 11 o'clock, it's just me and you bullshitting, having fun, talking sports.
I don't know. I don't understand what happened to Dylan. He just leaves. I love it. I think we should start putting bets on what time he leaves.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't get it either. I mean, he's done it every time I'm on, and I was getting ready to actually give props.
Jerry, do you talk Detroit hockey, Jeremy?
A little.
A little bit.
A little bit, because I'm happy that we signed fired Lalone and brought in Tim McClellan. He's changed it. We're not that dump and run team because we didn't have the speed to do it. We're starting to get a little bigger. We're putting our more foreboding guys on the defensive line, and we've won 5 out of our last 6. So
I know
it's
I was surprised. Like, I have not paid attention at all. You know, I see a highlight here and there, and I was like, we're 17-17. I
Yeah,
couldn't believe it. I was like, wait, what's going on here?
Hey, all I know is I've got one more thing to show you. I'm going to pull that up real quick, and so you can share it to the screen.
Like, Jeremy, you being in Detroit, you know, we have some good memories back in the 09, 8 season, 09 and 10 season.
08 season, yeah. Stop me. Yeah. 08 was
Well, I mean, you guys won the first year, then we won the rematch.
So, did you hear what Carl of Barstool Sports?
No, I did not.
That is what Chicago needs to become a good team. Have you seen that?
No.
Go ahead and pull it up. I just shared it.
Let me
I'll read
bring
it
it
for
in.
everybody. You're gonna love this. The Bears aren't that far away. They just need a new owner, new president, new GM, new coach, new stadium, at least 3 offensive linemen, a new OC, a new DHC. Caleb Williams gets better. Lions fall off. Vikings fall off. And the Packers change division. And they'll start winning again. I thought that was the most hilarious thing I've seen. Because that guy's a Bears fan. That's a Bears fan saying this on a podcast.
I cannot stand. I am not a Caleb Williams fan at all. I haven't been a fan of him since even in college. I just wasn't. I didn't like his attitude. I didn't like the way he held himself whenever he was losing. I don't understand what people see in this guy.
What I saw is that he still tends to play hero ball. When things starts to break down, he's quick to run. He doesn't have a quick read. If they can teach him how to read and react, he could be a good quarterback. But right now, what I see, he's not going to be much better than what we saw his rookie year. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
I got like a bold reaction here. Finally, another person agrees with me. Like, you have a 48% QBR after your first year. And the only reason you threw those touchdowns against Detroit in both games was because they were up so big. They were playing that prevent the win defense.
We actually stopped them from scoring in the second half of the first one. They scored all 17 points pretty much in the first half.
Oh, okay. One game.
Yeah. So, that was the first game he did it in the first half, is what I'm saying. I'm giving credit where credit's due. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the narrative of this, that, and the other, because he's like, there's only been 2 quarterbacks that had multiple touchdowns against us, and one is Josh Allen, and he has the other 2.
Just saying, I don't know. I am just not a fan at all.
I know you're not. But at the same time, I do got another picture. I hope it's in these files. Just a second. Let me look. I think you'll love this one even more.
Should we bring this Joey dude on and let him bullshit with us?
You want me to send him a link?
Sure. Joe, if you want to join us, he's going to get a link here.
I'm going to, yeah. Joey's an Eagles fan, and he's a good guy. I like him. He started coming on to my show commenting, and I'm going to have him on for my
I'm going to grab my beverage real. I'm going to grab my beverage real quick. I'll be right back. Hold on.
After I get him, after he gets here.
Woohoo! Said send it to his email.
That's what I'm doing.
Look at that. We're bringing on another guest.
Yeah, now we can talk longer. That's even more fun.
What'd you think of the Winter Classic?
What did I think of the Winter Classic? It is what it is.
Did you like that it was played at Wrigley? Did you like how they did it? Oh, I saw one today, Jerem. In 1976, the Who apparently played at Anaheim Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
And they had all them weed plants growing after the Who.
Just sent it to you, Joe. Oh man, I don't have it in here, and you loved it. I had a picture for my show that I had up, and it shows Caleb Williams. Oh yeah, I do have it. There we go. You're gonna love this one. So I have some music to put with this once you bring it up.
Waiting.
Yep, it's coming.
All right.
Got it?
Oh, is that why?
That's what happens when you lose. You get the Cobb in Detroit. On Thanksgiving.
Wait, is that why? Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Want me to pull that back up again? I have no problem with
it. I think Jay said something about the corn on the cob earlier.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that's what it's about.
All right. I wasn't sure. I'm like, damn, dude, you're just showing all the balls of the wall here. I love it. But yeah, Sam Darnold went back to pure showing his highlights on In Prime Life there. That was awful.
Yeah.
That was horrible. Or was that the Lions defense?
Was I not? Even after that Bills team, I said, I don't think we're going to lose another game all year. Is that not what I said when I came on?
You did say that.
And everybody's like, with all these injuries? I was like, yeah, we're not going to lose.
You guys are strong, you know. We didn't go over any predictions for the playoffs.
Oh, I got that gift to bring up.
But maybe we can do that when Joey gets here.
Yeah, exactly.
If he gets here.
Hey, he'll
come. Yeah, I didn't. I don't know. I feel Joe Burrow is going to get snubbed. I feel he should deserve at least in the top conversation here for Offensive Player of the Year. And you know me, I'm a Pittsburgh guy, and I'm telling you, a Cincinnati guy deserves Player of the Year nomination.
There, I got it. Hit the wrong thing. Just I got to open it again. Stupid.
What are we looking at now?
I'm trying to pull it back up here. That is the playoff bracket.
Oh,
Did it the easy way, right? Ain't that a lot nicer and easier to deal with?
Joe, you coming or what's going on here? I like how week 1 of the playoffs is the same as week 1 of the regular season.
Oh, he's just trying to get it to load. He's trying to load his home feed. Well, we're either getting one or the other. That's the thing, is because I think when you're the 1 seed and you have the bye week, it's the lowest seed that wins is what you play in that divisional round, correct?
Right.
So there's a chance.
There he is. What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
What's up, Joe?
I have seen you before now. Now that I've seen your face, I've seen your podcast before.
I appreciate that.
Because I do flip around. I watch other ones because, it's the know thy enemy thing. It's good to see what they're talking about in the other side of the world.
Yep.
Not just to be a homer and just watch your own stuff. That's
Yeah,
why
for
I
sure.
talk with Adam here. He's a great Pittsburgh guy.
Joe, while you just logged on, tell people how they can find you. Obviously, I know nothing about you. This is the first time we've met and talked. So, yeah, what's going on?
All right. So most of my stuff is done musically. I'm just a huge fanatic with all sports, mostly football and hockey. Grew up playing hockey myself and football. So just all I got right now. I really don't do too much social media. It's too much drama for me. But I'm just really big on to YouTube at the moment. So Joey also on YouTube, OUSO.
All right. All right. Joe, what do you think? Where should we start on this playoff picture? That's what we're going to do right now. We're going to break this down.
I think that the NFC is going to be the topic. So I think we should start on the AFC side and go from there.
All right. Bills and the Broncos, who play, I believe, Sunday at 4, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's funny is even though the Bills have been as good as they have been the last 3 weeks after they played Detroit, that defense has fell apart. They can't stop the run. The play action passes are hitting them over the top. They're hurt at the safety position. If there's any team that can upset from the 7th seed, it's going to be the Broncos in that game.
I was just going to say the Broncos run a lot of play action.
Right.
And Bo Nix is I don't know.
Like to see it.
Does anyone else feel that the Broncos might be overconfident too after putting up all those points on the Chiefs?
No.
Maybe getting a little overconfident on it, just thinking. I know everyone knows they played nobody, but they still put up 43 points or something like that.
I think Bo Nix, I was saying earlier with Jeremy, he's a little guy, right? But he has that Drew Brees in him. The guy's a killer.
Sean Payton loves him.
I think but he's 6'1". He's not 5'11" like Drew Brees, right? He's at the over 6 foot, but on the short side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where if you were to go somewhere like a Josh Allen, was Josh Allen 6'5", 225, 230?
Something
He's
like
a big
that.
boy. Like he's not a little guy. But at the same time, if Buffalo's secondary is going to play the way that they've been playing, he could carve them up.
I agree. Now, Pittsburgh at Ravens. Neither team swept each other. They're 1-1, right?
Yeah. But at the last meeting, the Ravens really showed that they can play football.
Yeah.
And really embarrassed the living shit out of us. And I keep saying this, if the Ravens play that kind of game, we're in for a long day. Now if Harbaugh goes back to saying I want to make this a battle, then he's going to put the ball. Then he's going to give Tomlin a little bit of the upper hand because he's going to be stooping to his level.
Right.
Or do we see playoff Lamar Jackson rear his ugly head again?
Pittsburgh's going to have to play. They're going to have to play a containment, but also with some pressure. So it's going to be hard.
And you know what I'm talking about, though. Playoff Lamar Jackson. One game he's like absolute monster, and the next time he looks like he's dog shit. There is no in between with them in the playoffs.
He turns in. He goes from a Ferrari to the Fisher Price car,
or a Yugo.
I saw the other day. I was driving around. Someone painted their smart car like the little Fisher Price car.
That's amazing.
I should have taken a picture of it, but I didn't. But it was pretty cool.
But
it was pretty cool.
The Chargers and the Texans. Does anybody giving the Chargers a chance?
So here's what else could happen. Does anyone else see that we could have a Chargers Ravens matchup, either in the AFC Championship or in the divisional round?
I mean, yeah, if Denver wins, right? Because Denver would go to KC after.
Right.
You could end up with either Chargers, Ravens, or Chargers, Steelers, or Texans.
And that would be all. That would be all they talk about all week. The brotherly matchup again.
Man. As much as I like to see him, when was the last time we saw it at the Super Bowl, right?
Right? The lights out. Halftime, lights out.
Joe Flacco was the quarterback then.
Right?
Jacoby Jones on that insane run back.
Yeah. It was weird. Before that blackout, San Francisco was absolutely dominating that game.
Mm-hmm.
All of their chemistry looked like somebody just said, okay, we're going to take this and give it to Baltimore.
Right.
I mean, that's what it looked like. It looked like they did the Freaky Friday switch between how the teams are playing.
Yeah, that whole game turned around after that point. It was really weird.
Everything went downhill for the Niners.
So are we going to stay going across, or are we just going to go over and see what we think about the first week in the NFC playoff?
All right, so right now everyone has the. Is anyone picking the upset in the Buffalo game?
I am.
I kind of want to. I kind of want to myself.
I think the Broncos. I think that Broncos, and then you end up with the 1-1 matchup of Mahomes versus Bo Nix in the divisional round. You know how sweet that would be of a playoff game? And what if he does the Joe Burrow thing and just lights his ass up and wins it?
If he does,
they damn near won the first one. A blocked field goal.
Yep.
Gonna make John Elway look like a genius.
Oh my goodness.
So that would put so that could possibly put Denver in the AFC Championship game. Right. We know it ain't gonna be a home game.
Right. They'll be on the road again.
So they're playing. I am taking the Chargers over Houston, and I'm also taking the Ravens over the Steelers.
Yeah, I think them losing what's his name for Houston, that receiver, that's
Tank Dell.
Tank Dell, losing him is huge.
That's a huge injury.
Because that was their deep threat.
They got Deontay Dropson. They got Dropson now.
Yeah, exactly. Deontay Dropson. Everybody's called him that. The guy that's on his fourth team this season.
Yep.
Is he even going to play?
He's so bad, Kadarius Toney still hasn't been picked up.
Oh. The only place where that guy would matter is in Casey. I swear. But yeah, I think it's gonna be the Chargers. I don't think, as much as I like CJ Stroud, I don't think did they go to the playoffs last year?
Yeah, they got beat by the Ravens.
Yep. So yeah, I don't see him. Like, I know it's his second year being in the playoffs, but I don't think CJ Stroud has enough to go over top with it.
Right, because they beat the Browns to get to you guys in the divisional round. The Texans did. And what if it is Justin Herbert and the Charger and the Texans win? Because there's always that too. What has Justin Herbert done in the playoffs?
Yeah, Justin Herbert hasn't been proven yet.
Remember, he let Sunshine win a playoff game.
I did not even. Oh, okay, Denver would have been out. Never mind. It wouldn't have been 3-3. I was looking at it. And I'm like, if the Bengals would have won and the Denver would have lost, would have been 3.
Mm-hmm.
So the brotherly matchup in Baltimore, and then are we really picking Denver to go to the AFC Championship game? Is this real?
Probably not. I think I just want to see it. I just want to see Bo Nix.
This is like us filling out the Madness 64, saying we want to see the 12 seed go to the Elite Eight.
Right. It's like picking that Cinderella team. It really is.
Right. That's kind of like what we're doing here.
Yeah, but honestly, Josh Allen's been on a roll. Cook is the running back, and of course, like, even though they lost Diggs, I don't think like that slowed him down with passing the ball as much this year. I really don't.
I think that opened up more for Josh Allen, actually.
For sure.
Because that way he doesn't have to focus on one guy getting completely mad if he doesn't get the ball.
Yeah. for sure.
That's the way I looked at it. I am taking Buffalo. I'm sorry. I cannot see them losing to Denver. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'll probably put a bet on Bo Nix just to see if it happens, but if not, oh well.
But then we would get, in my scenario, we would get Baltimore and Buffalo in Buffalo for the divisional round. And then we would get LA and Kansas City, which that was a fun matchup to watch during the regular season anyway.
For sure.
All right, so there's my two.
So Joseph in the chat is thinking the Packers are going to be the upset. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think them losing Christian Watson hurts them more.
that and their run defense is not good.
Yeah, their run defense has steadily gotten worse.
Yep.
Look at with the first time they played us, they held Monty and Gibbs to a combined 150 yards in that game. And then when we played them the second time, we didn't even have Monty, and Gibbs went off for 140 yards by himself.
To be honest, Gibbs is my favorite running back on that team.
Gibbs is my favorite running back
I
in the
love that
NFL
pick.
right now. 20 touchdowns on the season.
Yep.
He didn't just take Jamal Williams' little 17 touchdown record and say, "Oh, I'm good." He scores 3 more in the last game just to make sure it's good.
Yeah, the kid, he's so shifty and he's got a little bit of a patience to him, which is actually gonna transfer well.
James
So-
Burgess says, "I want the pack just to do the 3-peat."
Uh,
And I get it. It's funny as they all say, "Oh, it's so hard to beat a team 3 times in the same season." I said, "Well, that's funny. It's been done 31 times, and the record's 26-5."
yeah, for sure.
I said, "So doing the 3-peat isn't as hard as everybody says."
Look, if he does, Matt LaFleur is gonna look like the coach of the year.
If he beats the Eagles
Yes.
and then loses to Detroit in the next
And then loses to Detroit.
Isn't the bigger question though, is Hurts going to play or not?
So from back here on the eastern side of PA, it's all smoke at this point. They're just trying to fake everybody out. LaShawn McCoy was on a podcast earlier today, and he wouldn't divulge exactly who his secrets are or his contacts are, but he's saying that he's already back doing walkthroughs. He's just not putting it on pads yet because they don't want to risk it. But he's going to be full go by Friday.
Script writer will be great.
I want that guy's job for sure.
Yeah. The script writer would be great if that happened, but I just don't see, without Watson, Jaden Reed has disappeared the last 4 weeks.
Mhm.
Romeo Dobbs is dropping footballs like he all of a sudden channeled his inner Kadarius Stonehands Jabroni.
Mhm.
You
Lima
got all
Swede.
of that happening all at the same time, and then Josh Jacobs starts fumbling again.
Look, it's going to run through Josh Jacobs. I
yeah.
know it is for sure.
Yeah, they're going to try to feature Jacobs just like you guys are going to feature Saquon Barkley. It's going to be a lot like that Week 1 matchup. The difference is both teams are healthier overall
For sure.
right now because you guys had a couple old linemen hurt, if I remember, in the first one, and you saw that there was that little bit of a transition in the first half, getting the footing. And the footing at that place in Brazil was absolutely atrocious.
Oh my goodness, they did not prepare that field at all.
No, they just said, "Oh, we're gonna let football players use football cleats on a soccer field."
On a soccer field.
That's made for people to slide after they score a goal. That's intelligent.
Like, you can wear 7-inch studs on your cleats and you're still going to have no grip because of how thick that grass is. It's not right.
Now, I do think that middle matchup right there is probably going to be the best game of the 3. I think the Washington versus Tampa Bay. I think that's your slobber knocker because Washington's a much better team than they were Week 1 when they faced Tampa. And I think they can beat them. Is the crazy thing. I think that might end up being our matchup because I have LA beating Minnesota. After what we just saw, all they got to do is release the dog, send Verse and Frisky every down into Sam Darnold's face, and he folds like a wet paper towel.
Yeah, that's always been his issue.
Yeah, I'm taking Sean McVay as well, Jerem.
But the
I
Washington
like-
Tampa Bay game, I don't know who to pick. I love Baker Mayfield. And I think he's doing great, and I
think
want
he's
to
going to be a gunslinger.
But I think that's going to be a gunslinger game where both teams score 30-plus points. I think that's what that is. I think the other two games, whoever gets to 24 first is winning the game. Does anybody disagree with that?
No, that's a lot harder than you think, though, to pick between this Green Bay and the Eagles game. Because you really don't have good comparisons to week one because everything you guys just said with the field conditions and everything else.
Sean McVay wins the LA Ram game, and AG just gave him the secret sauce. It's called piss pound that O-line until they give up pressure. That's what we did. You know what's weird is they put up a stat after the game, and they actually only blitz 25% of the time in the game, and they're a team that normally blitz 40% of the time, and we blitzed 62%. With the Legion of Whom. With the Legion of Whom. And everybody says, what's the Legion of Whom? I said, we have so many guys on injury. We got people from practice squad after practice squad and everything else. It's the Legion of Whom because it's who the fuck are you making plays?
Picking them up and say, just run towards the quarterback. Just run towards them.
Yep, because that's just it. If you think about it, the linebackers that we've all picked up off of practice squad, all they were was special team guys and guys that can have a little bit of speed to them. So they said,
I think
you know what your job is? Don't cover anybody. Just run at the quarterback. That's all you got to do every week.
Right.
Yeah, I think these Vikings are going to be in trouble.
To be honest, I think Puka's going to have a crazy game.
All right, so let's see, Vikings, Rams. That's the 5-4, right?
And
then the Redskins and Bucks. That's a 3-4-6.
Yeah, that'll be the 4-6 game. Yep, that's seeding.
So who's coming to Detroit, Jeremy?
I think it's either going to be Minnesota or Washington. Minnesota's got a puncher's chance to win, but I don't have it high. But I think Washington has the best shot to win out of the lower seeds. If not, we're playing Tampa Bay. Yeah. If Washington can't win, I think all the lower seeds win.
And for Washington, Zach Ertz has been lights out the last 3 weeks. From him and Jane Daniels are really forming that bond. So if they don't stop their tight end passing, it's going to be an issue. And also, you still got Terry McLaurin over there, so you can't sleep on that. And what's his name? Austin Eckler is coming back.
I like Washington a lot this week. I like the Rams. My whole fantasy team is Green Bay, so this is really tough for me.
Oh, wow.
Listen, I got thrown into this team, so I had nobody, dude. The guy before me traded Bryce Young for CJ Stroud. If you want to hear how bad this is.
Yeah. I mean, you go on with it, but I'm already seeing that it's not going to end up well for you.
Yep. If Green Bay Packers win, it's Packers Lions. Everything else varies off of that because Detroit gets the lowest seed. And he's absolutely right. But what I'm saying is, if all of those lower seeds, 2, 3, 4, and win, we're getting Tampa Bay. And what we don't know is how good Washington would be in a matchup versus Detroit. Because that O-line tends to crumble against some pressure. We saw Chicago get to them and make that a rough game.
Right.
So, and that's the teams that's made them struggle. That's why they're 11-6. It's because they've struggled against the blitz. And AG has shown, I don't care who it is. I'm going to send Peter Lemongello out there and make him bum rush you. I don't care.
Right. Joseph says, is Washington a good matchup for the Detroit?
Jeremy just said no.
I just said yes and no. I mean, I don't think their matchup is good against our defense. I think their defense matches up better with our offense, but it isn't perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's just we haven't played each other. We haven't seen each other at all. Just like, outside of our division, there's nobody on the NFC side we played other than LA and Tampa Bay.
I'm taking Washington. I don't think Tampa wins this at home.
No.
Home games in Tampa is like home games in LA and home games in Arizona. The first time it's a home field advantage, it will be the first time.
Mm-hmm.
More away fans show up at them games than home team games.
Yeah, they actually did something like that. They were talking about that during the season where they were like, people in Tampa Bay aren't even football fans.
They're not. Most of their football fans are people from up here. So when they go to those games, there could be people from Maryland there. There could be people from Ohio. There could be people from Michigan, people from Indiana, people from Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And they go there to watch their home team from where they're from play against the Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
I know because I lived in Tampa and I was from Michigan. And guess what? I went there in Lions garb to Raymond James Stadium.
I can see Washington fans being happy that they're in a half decent looking stadium for once. Because that stadium is absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
I'm going Eagles.
I think it's Eagles. I'm going to say Commanders just because I think Jaden Daniels is very impressive. I think he's doing better technically than Baker Mayfield because he has less around him. If that makes
So
sense.
in this scenario, that would send Washington to Detroit and LA to Lincoln Financial.
Yep.
And as soon as Matt Stafford hits the cold, their run is over.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the AFC side. Like, they're all outdoor teams mostly.
Right.
The only one that would be suspect are the Chargers.
Yep, and there we go. James Burgess said it best. Daniels has been very impressive, but also has rookie oops moment, and also Detroit can beat a one-man show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very good point. He did have 800 yards on the ground, so he's a mobile quarterback. Oh my God!
And 148 rushes.
Right.
I talked about that earlier.
That's insane.
So we have Detroit and Washington, and then we have the Eagles and LA. Mm-hmm. And we just said that the Matthew Stafford falls apart outside. So we're going Eagles to the NFC Championship game, and I'm going to guess you're taking Detroit.
No.
Me too.
Yes. We have the better rushing attack. Austin Eckler is getting up there in age. He's not rushing as good. Brian Robinson is serviceable, but not great, and he's also been very injury prone. So there's your matchup to go to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Eagles like coming to Detroit.
Yeah, no. When we played you guys, was it week 1 last year? Week 1, right?
Yeah, week 1 last year. Week 2. Excuse me.
Okay, so that game, to be honest, with everybody back east were saying this might be our very first loss of the season. Like, this is going to be a tough game because you guys have been showing potential before that, and Goff has been Goff. It's not like he is just some scrub that has up and down games.
You know what I hated about that game? That was the one. No, it was 2022 was the last time we played you to start the season. Last year, you guys didn't play us.
Oh, yeah, we did play us year before. Yep.
And that was because we had CJGJ.
Yep.
I remember it vividly, and yes, it was week 1. But TJ Hawkinson was told to go to the stick route, and he runs out there, and he's standing there right in front of James Bradbury. Goff doesn't make a move, and he decides to run the go route.
Mm-hmm.
And Goff throws it to where he was in the stick route. James Bradbury gets a pick 6, and that was the difference in that game.
Mm-hmm. Which I hate. I do not like James Bradbury. I'm so glad he's buried in a depth chart. To be honest, I think Slay should start being pushed back. I know they say he's having a good season, but I feel like he's made way more mistakes. I think if you guys are going to pass the ball, I think Amon-Ra, if he has Slay shadowing him, you guys are going to have a field day with us.
I am taking Detroit to the Super Bowl.
I
have Jalen Hurts on my fantasy team too. So
when I do the divisional breakdown, and I invite the fans of every division, I want them there because I want honest opinion. And the only team in the NFC North that everybody agreed that was going to be at least second place in the entire division was Detroit. For all the NFC North fans, that was prior to the season being played. As it there, he goes, well, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. And this is what I think is going to happen. The Minnesota roster is good enough that Sam Darnold, if he just plays as an average to great quarterback, he doesn't have to be Superman. He just has to not lose you games. They're going to be second place in contending for the division in Week 18 in that last game.
Mm-hmm.
The Green Bay Packers will be third. And I don't think the Bears win 6 games. And everybody says, with that roster and all those weapons and Caleb Williams and the bench, they have bad coaching and a bad O-line. They're still the same team. And it's going to get worse because it's a rookie quarterback.
For sure.
Everybody they couldn't believe it. And I sit there, I goes, and looking at this schedule, the only game I can tell you right now, looking at it, off the top of the whole damn thing, is a loss, is the Bills. I said, that's the only loss that I see on this schedule. Because we don't know what C.J. Stroud the Texans are going to be. We don't know what Minnesota's going to be. We damn sure don't know what the second year of Love starting is going to be. We know what Caleb Williams is going to be. He's a rookie in the NFL with a bad O-line. It's going to suck for him. I mean, I went right down the list. And they said, well, what if this person is... I said, the only injury that'll derail this season is Jared Goff.
Right.
I sit there, I said, I've said it at the beginning of the year, and I'm saying it now. This is the best depth of talent I've seen on this roster in my lifetime. I'm 54 and been a fan since I was 5 years old.
So are we really going to get Detroit and Denver? Is that what we're saying?
Who was on the other side in the AFC Championship game again?
Well, you two have Kansas City and Denver, and then obviously Baltimore and Chargers going at it. I had KC and Chargers going at it, and Baltimore and Buffalo lined up.
Okay, so either way, who do you think wins between Baltimore and Buffalo? That's a crapshoot one. I like
it is.
Because neither defense has been great in passing. They have done better, the Ravens have, since they moved Kyle Hamilton back to free safety, like you said.
Right.
But they're still not good at stopping the pass. They're not. They're better, but that doesn't mean they're good.
I think I would take Buffalo because of home field.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because they're the 2 seeds. I agree. And, it don't seem like much, but that 350 miles to go north, that's a 5-degree temperature change. 5 degrees don't sound like a lot. You add in the wind, it's a lot.
Yeah, you're going to be playing in the elements too. You're almost guaranteed a snow game at that point.
Right.
January 18th, 19th, whatever day they give it to them.
If it's Buffalo, Baltimore, I got Buffalo winning. If it's Baltimore versus Chargers,
the brotherly love
game. Because what did I say could happen? if Denver wins, that's the game you're getting, right?
Right.
I think my pick, to be honest, is call me a home team guy or whatever it is. I think it's gonna be Buffalo and Philly in the Super Bowl. And the only reason why I'm picking Philly at this point is just because of Saquon. The guy's just remarkable. I think he's actually might be the best football player in the world.
Damn. Okay.
I'm just saying, for offensive player of the year, I was all on board with Saquon until they sat him. And then with what Jahmyr Gibbs did in getting the 20 total touchdowns.
Yeah.
You know, because there's nobody that's a non-quarterback that's close to that this year. Nobody.
No.
Like the closest is what, 16? And that Derrick Henry was 16, and then it's Saquon with 15, right?
Yeah, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was actually leading rushing yards for running backs up until was
3
that
weeks
week?
ago.
Yep, week 15 or something like that. Yeah.
So, and Jahmyr Gibbs is right up there with everybody at 1,600 total yards now.
Mm-hmm.
That's the crazy thing. Is everybody's missing that. You know, Josh Jacobs has more rushing yards, but total yards, it's Jahmyr Gibbs by 200 yards.
Yeah, he's such a threat. The guy can catch out of backfield, and he's going to get you yardage. He's not just going to, get stopped at the line of scrimmage. The guy has moves. You can't sleep on him.
So, Jerm, do you have KC beating Denver?
Yes. They're at home. It's just a different element, and it's a rookie quarterback. I think they might be able to get the first game done, but they won't get a second win, much like CJ Stroud.
Tim Tebow?
Everybody's got a little bit of magic.
All right. I'm definitely going KC, and I want to say KC and Baltimore are in my final two. I mean KC and Buffalo. So I have 1-2 across the board. What?
And if it's Jared Goff versus Pat Mahomes for all the marbles, if that's the Super Bowl, I have a little stat for you. In his career, Pat Mahomes versus Jared Goff, college and pro included, is 0-4.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
crazy.
He's the only guy to be undefeated versus Pat Mahomes in college and pros.
It's that good old Cal education.
Damn, that's crazy.
That's I never even knew that. That's a hell of a stat.
Remember, because they faced him in 2 different bowl games, Cal versus Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
And that was during the Kingsbury flop years.
Ooh. Joseph says Lamar for MVP.
I'm going to say it isn't for the same reason that Lamar got it last year. Lamar got it last year because all his running backs was hurt and he had to do everything himself.
Mm-hmm.
If you took him off that roster, there's no way that team was the first seed in the AFC. Correct?
Right.
Is there any way in hell that the Bills win a game if Josh Allen's not the quarterback?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
How many games did he put it on his back? Because the running backs couldn't do it. The wide receivers couldn't catch the ball. How many games out of their, what is it? They had 14 wins, I think? They had 14-3, or was it 15-2? Which is it?
15-2, I believe.
No, 14-3, because they lost to the Patriots this weekend.
Oh, that's right. Patriots cost himself the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
and before the fans could leave the stadium, Gerard Mayo was fired.
That's crazy.
He's in there doing the presser, and he gets the text. Get the fuck out, bitch.
Need you to clear your office out.
That was one of the first firings on a Sunday after a game in a long time.
Yeah, but it was how fast it happened. I'm sitting there watching the start of another game, got red zone on, and they're showing the presser in the other window. And all of a sudden, I see the little scroll come across the screen. I was like, "Oh, he doesn't even know it yet."
He's up there answering questions. He doesn't even have a job anymore.
Poor sucker.
I didn't know it was that bad. I didn't see that
today,
part.
And then today, Antonio Pierce was fired finally.
Peterson was fired too.
Yeah, Doug Peterson got fired.
I knew that was coming.
Everyone knew that was coming.
You know what's funny is the Jags immediately called up to ask for an interview with Ben Johnson. He says, "I'm good. You kept Belky."
You know, as a Philly fan, I really want Kellen Moore to stay. I'm tired
know
of
you do.
switching up, you know.
But that is what happens when you're a good team. This stuff's going to happen.
Yeah.
So out of the 8 teams that's called for Ben Johnson, he's accepted interviews with 2 of them. And I think the one was the Bears, correct? It's the Patriots and the Bears that he said yes to.
That'd be crazy if he did. I didn't hear it.
So I think he's going to the Bears to look at the Virginia McCaskey and Davis Warren to go, "You think I'm coming to coach you guys? You suck, bye."
And then someone, was it the Bears? Somebody asked to speak with Mike McCarthy about it interview, and Jerry Jones blocked it.
That was the Bears.
No, it's the Bears.
Yep. And but here, what's funny is he's calling around trying to get all these ones, and all these coaches are turning down interviews. The teams are letting them, and they're saying, "No, we don't want you." So you know what's going to end up happening. That's why he's telling people no for Mike McCarthy, because he knows after everybody else hires everybody, he might have to just go ahead and pony up and keep McCarthy for a couple more years.
He just needs to give up he has way too much involvement in that franchise. Jerry Jones, you're an owner. You're not a GM. You don't scout players. He acts like he knows what he talks about with players. And it's not because I'm an Eagles fan. It's because you are way too involved and you have something to say about your players way too much. I don't like that.
I agree. I agree.
He said he did agree MVP should not be a quarterback award. Unfortunately, that's the way it is.
It is. The last non-QB that won it was who? It's been a while, ain't it? Hasn't it been like over 5 years? AP was the last one, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it was Adrian Peterson, his 2,000-yard season, right?
Yep. I'm going to agree with you, Joe.
Imagine that. That's why Saquon's not going to win it. Also, you sit a game, you guarantee you're out of that race.
Yep. Doing that and the performances that happen by the people that are up for the MVP. I mean, Josh Allen, I don't think he gets it either. And I don't think Lamar gets it. And that's what's crazy about it. There's one other guy that could get it, and he won't get it, but he deserves it the most, and that's Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
9 interceptions on 652 attempts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Who did I say? Jerem?
Josh Allen.
No, for MVP, I meant rookie of the or offensive player of the year.
You said Saquon, I thought. No, sorry, Chase. Jamar Chase.
No, I said
Who?
Joe Burrow.
Oh, you said Joe Burrow? Oh, yeah, Josh Allen MVP, Joe Burrow for offensive player of the year.
Yeah. I feel so bad. I feel like I don't know what's going on in Cincinnati, but it's like I feel like they usually have like a core group of guys they keep, and it doesn't really change too much. But then again, it's like I don't know if it's play calling or something. It just falls apart for them. They'll have one great season. Next season, they'll be nothing.
There's something bad there, and I don't understand it.
To be honest, when they went to the Super Bowl, I was like, they're winning it this year.
No, they're not.
I was like, nope. Okay. And then they just bombed in the Super Bowl that year.
I thought it was funny. Like the last time they won their first playoff win, they didn't even have their first playoff win. Whenever they won before that, they didn't even have cell phones then.
But while Lamar's numbers are crazy too, last year, Dak and Josh Allen's were crazy and deserved it more than Lamar.
Oh my God. I thought Dak was going to win it.
So did I.
I really did.
As the number 1 or number 2 seed and putting up the great numbers he did. What did he have? Like almost 50 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions. It was insane.
Yeah. He literally, I don't want to say carried them, but he made a lot of great plays that year where I was just like, there's no way you don't win it.
And then the Packers walk in and destroy you.
Yeah, that was funny. I'm sorry. It couldn't have happened to a nicer team.
Nobody picked that.
Jordan Love does his best Aaron Rodgers imitation and loses to San Francisco.
Yep.
Every year. And
did it seem like
what is it
did
about
it seem like the
drafting?
team gave up though? On that run when Aaron Jones was breaking down the middle and no one was around him and he slowed down until people caught up.
Yeah, it looked like it was in script.
Yeah, that was script, right? For sure.
Aaron Jones realizes his hamstring hurt. That was the script. Slows down.
Looked, I thought that was a little loony.
Be damn from a professional football player, and you're gonna keep me from an end zone. I don't know about that.
I don't know. It just looked like Denver. It looked like Green Bay was letting off the gas a little bit there.
But at the same time, if you look at the NFC Championship game that the Lions had, they did the exact same thing that the San Francisco 49ers did versus the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lead. Got ahead. Quit running the goddamn ball. Start going pass, run.
Right.
And expect to win. You got CMC. He was the best offensive weapon in the league last year. And you didn't unleash him until halfway through the fourth quarter in the second half.
Right.
And you'll wonder why you lose. Oh, let's blame it on the defensive coordinator that held them to, 10 offensive points? But let's not blame the quarterback that threw the pick 6.
There's always a scapegoat. You know that, Jerm. Always a scapegoat.
Joseph says my 2 favorite teams are the Lions and whoever plays the Cowboys. Amen to that.
Yes.
Amen to that.
Yes.
So many.
Was either one of you watching football back in '91?
Oh, where was I? I was only 4. Ooh.
Okay, so no for you. What about you, Adam?
91. Let me see. Was that the Bubby Brister years? I mean, I was obviously a Marino fan growing up, so I was always keeping my eye on the Dolphins.
Okay, so anyways, what that was the year that the Lions smoked the Cowboys 31-6 in the wild card playoff game. And at the end of that game, that was being commentated by Pat Summerall and John Madden. John Madden says, "That's it. It's settled. Detroit is America's team."
I don't remember. Well, obviously, I was 9, 8. No, I was 11 then. I was probably more into hockey at that point, Jerm.
So you were more into Penguins and the Red Wings matchups because back then they kind of had a little rivalry before the Red Wings got good.
Yeah, I mean,
no, we didn't, without the internet and everything, it was hard to find out what was going on around the league.
You had to rely on like local newspapers.
Yeah. Back then, your Bible as a guy that studied sports was the sports section in the Bible.
Right.
And it told
And
everything.
then I loved looking at the West Coast games on being on the East Side, and it would be like too late to determine score.
They were like, I'm going to bed. I'm not staying up for this.
Right. And it was funny, like, because you wouldn't know that box score until the next day. Let's see. The Pirates were good. The Pirates were hot then still, too.
Oh, yeah. The Pirates were really good in the 90s. Most of the 90s.
The Steelers were just not very good at that point in time. Being honest.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to remember the Steelers were not very good from 31 till 60 till 70. We didn't have. I don't think we had. I think we might have had 3 to 4 winning seasons from 33 to 70 until we got that draft class where it was what Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, Green, and Blair.
Yeah,
that's insane.
That draft class changed everything.
So now that we're done with this, take that off. We can get the river full screen again because that's basically done. We gave our Super Bowl predictions. I don't want to predict who wins the Super Bowl yet because we're not there.
No, we're good. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at the 4.
Whoever makes it.
Well, Joe,
and I know, Joey, you say you want the Eagles to do it. I want the Lions to do it. But you know what? We might both be wrong and be sitting on the couch next week.
Jaden Daniels wins the Super Bowl.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Oh, my goodness.
Dan Quinn. I think that would be the bigger shocker to everyone. Joey, just to let you know, we do this every Tuesday. It's called Open Sports Mic. If you want to jump in, we'll ask for the invite. Yeah, I think we covered a lot of bases tonight, boys.
I think the 3 of us did a little better than there was when there was 9.
Sometimes when you get that many, it's hard to keep a flow going.
Yeah, because everybody wants to talk at the same time. I noticed
and everyone
that.
and everyone wants to get off subject too.
Right. I was sitting there trying to go towards that first subject that you had, and it was like interruption. And I was like, okay, fine.
Yeah, I just kind of at that point as the host, you just kind of sit back and go, okay.
You saw me do it too, didn't you, Adam? I was like, hey.
And that's the problem. Like when there's so many hosts on one show, it does get confusing.
Right. So, that's why I like about the restream. I can't see what views you have here for setup, but I literally can make it to where I could put the one guy who's talking centered here and everybody else is along the side. And then
I can too, but I can do that too, but it's way too hard to do on this show because you never know who's going next.
Right. Well, you make the order. Don't give them a choice.
Oh, you gotta script it.
Yeah, but that kind of takes away from the open mic flow.
Yeah, I know. I know it does. The open mic, I kind of like it when you have banter. I like it when you got rivals that talk shit to each other in an open mic. 'Cause that's when it's fun.
Right.
Everybody we had here tonight was way too nice. Like Dylan when he tried to talk shit to me about the Jaguars. 3 weeks ago, I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You guys are gonna probably get the first pick in the draft. Shut up."
Well, in that case, I hate Sidney Crosby. I hate that guy.
Fuck you.
I'm sorry.
All right, so look, I'm not a Tom Wilson fan. I've never really actually hated Philadelphia. I just haven't. I did go to a game at the Spectrum. I did get to see the Spectrum. I got
Spectrum days, yeah.
I got to see the new one. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I thought I was gonna get arrested though, because I was talking to a cop and I'm like, "Is it true you guys bum jump around here?" And he's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "They just jump over the bums that lay around in the train stations." And he's like, It's like, you're not going to do it, are you? And I'm like, am I going to get arrested? He's like, go ahead, try. And I'm like, I'm good. At this point, it was like my birthday weekend, and we went and watched the Penguin game, and I was just so shit-faced. I was like, no, I'm good.
Those fucking
My buddy.
cops.
I don't know. I'm not. Philadelphia is not a bad place. I wouldn't recommend visiting clothes like I did, but I did.
Yeah, I mean, you're safer when you go to a hockey game for sure. I think the harshest time I ever seen was when I went to, it was like 96. I went to the Cowboys game when they came to Philly, and I seen this guy, this grown man, just dump cheese whiz from nachos all over this like 12-year-old girl's head because she was wearing a Dallas jersey, and everybody's cheering it on. I was like, this is wrong, but that's kind of funny. I was just like, I don't know what to feel about this.
So I guess what was it? Had to be 90, maybe 89. I was one row away from the 500th home run with Mike Schmidt.
Oh, jeez.
I was, like I said, I was 9 years old. I didn't know how important that ball was.
Yeah. If you would have known now, you would have jumped for it.
I probably would have fought a lot harder. Yes. But yeah, it was pretty neat. That was like my first monumental thing of being around something historic.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know. I haven't been to a baseball game yet though over there.
They're cool. It's just at this point, it's more like, I swear, it's like college kids just going there to get tore up and drunk. That's what it is now. Like, it's not the baseball experience. I mean, you still have like the old timers that go, of course, but it's more about people going there to take Facebook pictures.
That's everywhere though, ain't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you go to a concert, you might be in the middle of a mosh pit, but someone's still sitting there with their phone going, yeah.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is.
Isn't what it is.
Anyway, Joe, how do people get a hold of you, man?
I think my email is linked to my YouTube page, so it's in there. You can also hit me up on YouTube. I'm not, like I said, I'm not on social media platforms. I just not a social media guy. It's not for me. But yeah, that's the way you can hit me up.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I love the green for the Eagles thing in the background. Is that a light or is your walls painted green? I was curious.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a light. I got the LEDs hooked up.
Looks like the LED rope lighting, right?
Yep.
All right. I was just wondering. I was like, he's an Eagles fan. It might be all green. Who knows?
I just thought it was fitting. I mean, I don't think I can bring myself to that. I think my girlfriend might have something to say if I paint my walls green, and she doesn't like sports. So
she doesn't like sports.
She does not.
Yeah, that looks like I watched this video where the guy was talking, and it was the girl talking about him selling his motorcycle, and he goes, "Well, you sound like my ex." She goes, "But you were never married before." He goes, "Exactly my point." That's what it would be if I got married. And she goes, "Are you ever going to quit watching football?"
Keegan says she's not a keeper.
Listen, I don't butt in on what you do and everything else, right?
Right.
So you do you, and then we'll be fine. And
Exactly. And then the other one that I liked was where the lady did the hypothetical. So if you were offered $1 million to cheat on me, and he goes, "Baby, I'm giving you a kiss. I'm cheating on you and getting that money, and we're going on a vacation after." And she goes, "What?" He goes, "What?" He goes, "You mean to tell me I get $1 million and some stranger gets to give me a blowjob? Oh, damn, it's such a travesty."
It's a win situation for me.
All right, Jeremy, how people get you, bud?
Well, you can find me and my writings at the SouthFloridaTribune.com under the Motor City Tribune heading, where you can find other authors like George Eichhorn, Scott Morgan Roth, and myself. You can also find me on the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel, where every Thursday I do the Fire Up channel, and occasionally I'm on Inside the Pigskin with former people like former special teams coach of the Lions and head coach of the Central Michigan Chippewas, John Bonamago, or Mel Farr Jr. And then you can find me on my channel, which is Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions, where I go live into Facebook, Twitter, and Amazon and Roku.
Nice. I am at Sports Talking It on Twitter. Jamie went through everything that you need to sign up for, log into, hit the notifications, driving to the top productions. Obviously, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming on, Joe. Late invite. Don't be afraid to. Don't be a stranger, as some people say it.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, do you ever talk to B Sing Sports?
Yeah, I follow him.
Me and Ryan are pretty good friends. We're in a fantasy or dynasty league, so I was just wondering, if you ever wanted to collab with them, let me know.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll definitely follow you too, and make sure that we all keep in contact and stuff. And like I said, me and Jeremy, or I don't know if I said it, but me and Jeremy are actually planning, if it comes down to it, hopefully, the NFC Championship game. We're gonna do that stream together.
Oh, for sure. Why wouldn't you?
Right. And also, he's gonna be a guest on my show tomorrow night, the NFL Roundtable.
Nice. That's the roundtable, right?
Yep. That's where we're just gonna do exactly what we just did here. We're gonna go through the slate of the week 1 of the playoff.
That seems to be the thing.
Why not? It's the in thing to talk about right now.
But all right, guys. Thank you, and everybody.